wonderful adventure. Wonderful adventure. Wonderful adventure. Wonderful adventure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Morning Movie Podcast. Today, this is our first ever episode. Today, we are reviewing Tenet, the Christopher Nolan blockbuster film. And we're going to be going through it in scene by scene, starting from the beginning. We're going to be watching it as we go. We've seen this movie multiple times. We both enjoy it. Today, I am here with my mom. Mom, care to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm so happy to be here to talk about this movie. I love this movie. I think Tenet was sadly kind of over, what's the word?
It's definitely underrated.
It was underrated for sure, and I think because of COVID, it didn't get the screen time it deserved, for sure.
No, definitely not.
But Christopher Nolan it's probably one of my top Christopher Nolan movies. I think he did an incredible job, and it's such a thoughtful, intelligent movie. But let's move on.
Let's begin.
We'll begin.
Just realized I did not introduce myself. I am Mac.
And I am Lisa.
And here
his
we go.
Mom.
So we're beginning here in the theater.
The Ukrainian opera.
Yes.
And the gunshot goes. And here come the...
Now, Chris Nolan, ever since Dark Knight, he loves intros like this. Big, bombastic, gunfire, tries to hook you immediately.
I hate that they broke that cello.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they break a cello. In case
Terrorize the poor musicians.
For people just listening in, they break a cello immediately.
I know this is such a mom thing. I always think, my God, that poor musician lost
a
the cello.
It's a waste. You know what things go to waste.
The money that now he or she has to pay to replace that.
Exactly.
I know it's silly, but I was thinking.
And here we are introduced to the main character,
the protagonist,
literally named the protagonist in both the credits and in the film.
I love this guy. I think John David Washington, he's really such an up and coming guy. I think I really hope to see him again in this role.
He was in
a sequel.
He was in that.
He was in Black Klansman.
He was in Black Klansman, as I call it.
Denzel's son.
I've seen the movie. It's a good movie. But yeah. What my mom just said. Little known fact: he is Denzel Washington's son, and you can kind of tell with the voice. He's got a little bit of the Denzel voice, a little bit of mannerisms.
He's a strong presence on screen.
He's not bad.
Yeah, I really like him.
He's definitely growing.
Yeah, he's handsome. He's strong. He's everything.
He's got some of the
an
chops
A-list actor should be in my eyes.
So we're opening here. Denzel's son, the protagonist, is entering the stadium with the terrorists. He's with some kind of squad that slapped these fake labels on their shoulders.
So you wonder what exactly?
Yeah, what the hell are they doing?
Was the initial? Who they partnered with, and what was the initial mission? I guess it was the plutonium that got them there.
Yeah, there was some kind of anti-terrorist, anti-plutonium, whatever you want to call it, squad. Not anti-plutonium, but you get the point. Some kind of interventionist group. But anyway, they pumped this gas to the stadium. Now they're going room by room to all the box seats to find a certain person. And here you're immediately shown that the protagonist has some skill. It disarms the guy immediately.
Give him one good punch to the face. And already the password is given, right? Introduced in
immediately
the movie.
That these people know each other, that there's some kind of secret world.
I like that they have that little magnetic thing on their arm patch.
It already establishes, too, that the protagonist, he's a skilled guy. He's like, bring you in or kill you. Like, I don't care. He wants to get the mission. He's very mission-oriented, this man.
Yes, definitely.
That's a good character establishment.
Yeah. It's just such a well-written, I'm probably over-summarizing.
Yeah, well, here we're going to begin to see some of the hints of a larger plot. Because we already started with that. Like, why the hell are they here? There's something, already an unseen force. That gets bigger, maybe worse, some people might say, as the movie goes on.
And you really got to pay attention at these early scenes because they do pop up later in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately and fortunately, a movie you need to watch many times.
Yes, and I have watched it many times, and I still don't understand it completely. sadly, but I feel like I'm getting a better grasp
Mm-hmm.
about it because it's a lot of back and forth, and it's a very intelligent, well
Yeah.
thought out script, and I think that it could be slightly a
And
level
here's a
above
hint.
my brain
Just something
pan.
real quick. I don't know if you noticed. There's a hint that they're not supposed to be with the rest of the squad.
Yes.
They, one of the guys like, "Who the hell are you?" Just recognized him. And another one of the protagonist squad mates killed the guy who thought didn't know who he was.
Yeah, wait a minute. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Well, I noticed that. I didn't really understand that part, to be
yeah. So
honest.
and then the protagonist who, it's like he's working with the guy who he gave the passcode to, or whatever. They had the exchange. He he confirms something with him about location of an object, which is supposedly the plutonium at this point in the movie.
Right.
I should probably let people know right away. This is a spoiler-filled review. We will be talking about the movie in depth. We will be spoiling the whole plot. So if you haven't watched the movie, please watch it. Spoiler alert from here on.
Yes, definitely, because there's a lot of back and forth, and we're gonna have to, we may reveal some things. So, but you're gonna have to watch this movie 100 times anyway, like me,
To be fair, that is true.
to understand it.
I see another person who didn't
Yeah, see,
recognize
I
him
didn't
sees him.
get this part
Also,
either.
look carefully. The bullet hole.
Yes.
It's reversed
Yes,
already.
but he also says you don't have to kill these people. Which character is saying that? Now, this is a very important part. When he looks at the
He
guy
sees the
running
backpack.
away who just saved him with the inverted round,
Yes.
and he sees something on the backpack, and that comes up later.
Yeah.
And then
Does
they
it.
throw the bomb up there. All the bombs. Are people up there?
That's
I
a good
worry.
question.
Are there
That's
people
exactly
there?
it. Like you do see
It's
here.
a mezzanine level.
Yeah, yeah. Who knows how many people are
And it's
concussed or
like the
dying?
cheap, yeah. And he says, "Oh, the cheap seats or something." What's that supposed to mean? You're gonna kill everybody in the cheap seats, the poor people up in the cheap seats, and everyone in
Exactly.
orchestra got away with it.
Yeah. So
Oh, here we
here the
go.
protagonist, I guess, got with the wrong
I
crowd.
love this guy. He's so rotten.
Oh, the villain.
and
Oh,
mean.
this guy
But
plays a lot of villains. So the guy, again, those who are listening, there is a villain character. I think he's in the movie a couple more
He's
times.
playing some sort of paid Russian
He's playing, yeah, Russian
operative.
Operative.
That's
exactly.
the only word I can think of because we don't really know who he is.
The
They don't
actor,
reveal
I
it.
can't remember his name for the life of me. He's been in a lot of villain roles as well recently.
But the poor protagonist here, they were pulling his teeth out. Oh my God, I always think about that. All the
They
years
find a
of
track,
dental
like
work and
he knows a
his
tracker.
mother and father probably. See, this I didn't understand. Maybe Matt can you can explain it to me. Like, why did he keep setting the clock back?
I think it's rather.
And was this guy supposed to be dead? Now he's got the pill in his hand. I mean, thank God he did.
To be honest, I've never seen this part of the movie, so I haven't
See
really
how
been
he
there.
keeps he rewinds the movie. I mean the clock, excuse me. And I'm like, oh, I feel so bad for him. You could really see
No, you immediately
he's suffering
it
terribly.
it does show he's able to go through some suffering, but
But he's strong. This guy's very strong, and I love that. He's and look, he takes the pill.
he takes a suicide pill.
Takes the suicide pill.
Because obviously he's part of this group.
Yeah.
That is very covert, and then the intro's title, Tenet, right?
Yeah.
He's passing out from the presumably cyanide capsule.
Yeah.
That the other operative was with.
What exactly is that capsule?
Probably
Could it
cyanide.
It could be cyanide, but I think they have such, there's such meds that could probably be quick and
It was
efficient.
probably
that we're
there to
unaware
kill
of.
him. It was definitely a suicide pill of some
Yeah,
sort.
I
It doesn't, to be honest, it doesn't matter for the sake of the movie.
I
But
know.
it is.
It's just me, the nurse in me, that wants to know what
Oh
it is.
yeah.
Now here he is. He's waking up. He's
But,
talking to, I guess, his boss. I don't know who. And
a new boss.
yes, and he basically is telling him now. Oh, I feel bad, but he was in an induced coma,
Yeah, it turns out it was a
medically
fake
induced
suicide
coma.
pill.
and that and then he says they pulled my teeth out, and which makes me sad. But they rebuilt his mouth, so that's good news. Always the mom in me want to make sure he's going to be okay.
So this is something I don't understand, that there was this was a test. Obviously the Russians
Yes.
were real. They were against him. They were against the group they were with.
No, I think the test is the pill.
The test was the pill. See if he would
Yes.
give up his
If
colleagues.
you are going to spill your beans,
He
are you
passed.
going to say everything, or are you going to, take your own life to spare, the world, right? So not to give up your secrets or your colleagues. And he took, he's a strong guy.
Oh, wait,
He was willing
that's
to
the
do that.
exactly that's a characterization
Yeah.
observation. He chose the mission over his own life,
Yes.
which is a point of the character you'll see later on as well. This character, he has to learn. I think there's one point in the movie he has to learn to not just sacrifice himself, to sacrifice others.
Right.
Why are you pausing it?
Because there's a big important part coming, and you weren't finished with the Satan. Because this
fair.
is how they're
Fair enough.
introducing the gesture, the hand gesture.
Yes, the Tenet hand gesture is
So,
coming up here.
If I do something, believe me, there's a reason.
Mom's always right, guys. Gentlemen with moms in their lives, listening to the podcast. Mom's always right.
All right, so now we can go back. But we're finish your thought.
No, that was it. He learns. He has to learn to sacrifice not just himself later in the movie. He has to learn to sacrifice others in a way, not sacrifice per se, but be willing to sacrifice others.
But he also says this part too, right before the hand gesture part. He goes, "I resign," and I love that the other guy goes,
"You're already dead."
You're already dead. He's like, "There's nothing to resign now.
There's nothing else for you. There's nothing else for you. You're forced to do this."
Right, and there's more. We've got bigger problems.
Yeah.
This is everybody's problem.
Yeah, you'll find out. To those that know the movie, this is the point where you would know the whole world is the whole of reality is at stake.
Yeah, at stake, exactly.
Because of course the stakes can't be bigger than just the world. They have to be the literal
or the
existence.
Mission, right? It has to be everything.
Literally.
Here we go.
Yeah, hit it.
Here he introduces the hand gesture and the word Tenet.
And only certain people know it. He mentions. And it's
not everybody passes that test.
Exactly.
He took the pill and he sacrificed himself.
Yeah, not many people are willing to do that, which is the point. It's meant to signify utmost secrecy.
Yeah.
For this organization, which as we find out later, is literally a organization built in the future that travels backwards and forwards in time.
And this is interesting too.
To maintain reality.
Now, Mac's talking about the broader whole,
yes.
but
so
now he's in one of the windmills.
Yes.
The energy windmills it's kind of like a capsule almost. And
it's a hidden compartment.
Yeah, hidden compartment inside, and he's hiding out in there. I
guess presumably till he gets picked up.
Yeah. So he waits, he works out.
Yeah, there's lots of tiny moments in this movie for real. Actually, let me rephrase. There's moments in film, I might be mislabeling it, but they're called moments of rest, where literally or figuratively the characters and the dialogue and the action has a moment to literally breathe and relax. Gives the audience a moment to get their bearings, to think about what just happened. Gives the characters a moment to relax and think about what the heck just happened.
But you know what, too? This is the only time he does relax.
That is true.
Because he is unaware of what's to come. He's finally getting to rest, the poor guy, and then the horn beeps from the ship.
And Chris Nolan, he's good at action. We know that from like Dark Knight and Inception and heck, even Interstellar, which isn't really action per se, but it's very energetic.
I really liked Interstellar. It's probably another one of my favorite Christopher
Nolan movies. We might do that
movies.
one day.
Yeah, I mean, I like the emotional depth, the intelligent depth. Like, it's just a very, smart movie. I like that.
I want to say
clever. Clever is a good word.
100%. Speaking of clever, there's 2 points I want to point out. One, he's in these. For the people listening again, he's in an orange jumpsuit now. Not orange jumpsuit. Like a construction vest type looking thing that was given to him presumably by the organization. So he's probably thinking, okay, they're very well organized. But in reality, we know post watching the movie, probably knew ahead of time because they're in the future. They know everything at this point.
So now we're at the scene where he walks into, I guess, a scientific research building. I'm not really sure.
It skips ahead. There's a lot of details that are skimped out in this movie, which is one of the negatives, unfortunately, because there's so much to explain. So Chris Nolan has to cut out a lot of other shit.
But anyway, not to get into the minutia, he's talking to a scientist, and she wants to keep things simple, and he's trying to understand. And
she explains what she understands, because everyone is compartmentalized in this organization for secrecy reasons, presumably. She only thinks, okay, prevent World War III. She doesn't know, all of existence to that fate either, which is
Right.
fair because he's on a need-to-know basis also. So it doesn't ruin the plot yet for people. This is also the famous trailer scene where you get the inverted bullets coming up right now. Phil is watching alongside,
Yeah. It
which,
must have felt very odd to him, which it did. He
well,
just
yeah,
says it
obviously in
clearly.
real life we'll never get something like that, but, he explains a lot of this is based on instinct. You have to think about doing the action, and then you'll see the action play out in reverse because you thought about doing it, which is very confusing when you have things that are moving backwards in time, and then if something that's moving forwards in time interacts with it. That's one of the conceptual issues of the movie
Yeah.
that it's hard to wrap your head around as a moviegoer.
It really, honestly, I saw this. I don't know if I told you this, Mac. I saw this in the theater I think it was last fall.
Reference,
I think
it
it
is
was in,
July, our time.
yes. So it was, believe it was in the fall when they opened things up again. I don't remember if I saw it before the pandemic. Maybe it was in spring. It was definitely
Right before the pandemic.
Yeah, it might have been right before. And I said, you know what? I'm going to catch a movie before they close everything down. And I went. There was literally no one in the theater. I think I was maybe one other person.
Yeah.
I was in
Happened
the
with me and my
corner.
girlfriend for Jumanji. Literally, there's no one
Yeah,
there.
and honestly, I loved it. It was great. I was in there by myself. I was totally fine with it. And I watched it, and I was like, God, this is a good movie. But I was like, I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I felt very stupid,
I want to point
honestly.
something out. Remember how
But I'm
later
glad I saw it in the theater.
I never thought of something. So people who have seen the movie, the hand gesture they do, the little interlocking
Yes.
fingers.
I didn't notice that at first.
Me neither. I just thought about it just now. So
Because
you know
he
how
did it. He did it to see the scientist.
he did.
He did it, and it's very
There's
subtle.
very few times in the movie you see it. I think they almost forget about it
And
because so much stuff.
then
But
with the arms dealer in Bombay.
he does it.
Mumbai.
Yes, Mumbai. I think it's Mumbai. We'll find out later.
Yeah.
We're also
Sorry.
rewatching the movie too,
Remember,
and we
there's
recommend you
spoilers.
guys watch the movie with us as well. So you guys have something to. I will put a visual aid if we make this a video.
Well, you're gonna edit this because who wants to hear for 2.5 hours?
Yeah, exactly. Some of the stuff is going to be cut for time, but so the interlocking fingers I want to point out is it's signifying of the joining of future and past.
See, now I didn't know that.
So I
read
just thought
up on
about it.
this.
So you know how it's the pincer operation, time
Yes,
pincer.
the temporal.
It's also the temporal pincer.
Temporal pincer.
Also, literally that too.
Yes.
This is an operation of joint future
Now,
and
was
past.
that a term he just created?
No, they talk about it later in the movie.
No, I mean a temporal pincer move. Is it a military move?
No,
or
pincer move is military IRL in real
right,
life.
but they add the temporal.
They add the temporal
Got
because
it.
it sounds cool.
Yeah.
It's time,
Yes.
temporal,
And then here, now we're jumping a little bit. They're still together, the scientist and the protagonist, and she's showing him inverted objects, and apparently it looks like a whole room of them.
Yes.
So they're finding. Oh, so she says, say that word, Matt.
Detritus from a coming war.
Detritus.
I think
of
it's
a
how you pronounce
coming
it.
war. That I think is a very important statement that
Well,
I did not pay attention to.
That
Because that said, something serious is happening in the future. It's not just about the inverted weapons, but something like it's remnants of a war. So something clearly, seriously happened, and they're, obviously trying to either
confirmed,
prevent
by the
or
way, it
confirm.
is Mumbai.
Oh, it is. Okay. So now, and listen, this guy's a smart guy. He is now asked, where were these materials made?
So yeah, so for people that weren't paying attention, he traced those inverted bullets, the
Yes.
materials
The
made in the
materials,
bullets,
yes.
to Mumbai, as in literally
Right.
the iron there comes from Mumbai. So he finds an arms dealer there. This is where he first meets Robert Pattinson's character, Neil. I think he's one of the few people named in the movie.
Yes.
There's Sanjay Singh, there's Neil, there's Sanjay's wife who becomes a major character. I forgot her name.
Priya.
Priya, there we go. Priya Singh.
Now, I liked Robert Pattinson in this movie, too.
Yes.
I think he has, as an actor, I think he's come a
come
long
to
way.
Especially from Twilight. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and he also was in Harry Potter.
That's true. I'll
He
go with
was
the
good
fire.
in that, I thought.
Yeah.
But he's come a long way. He's grown, matured as an actor.
And here you see hints of how well he knows the protagonist.
Yes,
Again,
these
spoilers.
little subtle things.
Never drink at the job. I know you love Diet Coke. You know, little things here and there.
He's like, I prefer soda water.
It's a lie, he says, yeah.
There you
Calls
go.
him out immediately.
It's funny, and he kind of chuckles because you could tell he sort of likes him.
Yeah.
He's not too sure about him, but he
Yeah.
likes him.
I'm sure he's put off a little bit by him knowing him so well. And he's still, I'm sure the protagonist.
You know what I also like?
What?
How he's moving his leg. He just moves his leg in a way that we would all do that.
Mannerisms.
Mannerisms.
He's trying to, yeah, so.
Like in a natural, like, he's like,
I'm sure the acting director, which is separate from the main director in film sets, probably was like, hey, you know, you're semi-uncomfortable in the scene. You're going to cross your leg. You're gonna do restless leg syndrome a little bit. Signify you're still trying to understand this guy.
Yeah.
So you don't know who the hell Robert Pattinson's character Neil is. You know, who the heck is this guy? How does he know so much about you?
Right.
This organization you're working for is very well informed. Obviously, you know, you realize later, you know, he knows him literally personally. That's how he knows all these things. But he plays it off as, I just really well.
I did my research.
Yeah.
Like as if he just, you know, did his due diligence.
No, it's a half truth.
Yeah, it is sort of. But here now they're gonna bungee jumpable.
Reverse bungee jump, because everything has to be inverted in this movie. Even things that aren't inverted, bungee jumping upward has to be inverted too.
I like when you know, I've watched this movie several times, like I said, but there's so many different subtleties. I love subtlety in movies. I love those little things that nobody notices. I think in a movie like this, but also a complete opposite movie like Shaun of the Dead has those little subtleties that you gotta like...
Million subtleties.
Yes, and I
catch.
love that. You gotta kind of catch those. I mean, that to me, those clever little things that a screenwriter, the actor, the director, you know, put in. I just love that.
I want to point one quick thing out. I do find it a little silly that the guards that were literally sitting next to the rail didn't hear the bungee cord.
I know. I think their little takeover here was a little too easy.
That and also the other guy when Robert Pattinson's character just like quelled the guard by saying, "Don't move, shush, I have a gun point at you." The guard doesn't do crap.
Yeah,
it's a little weird.
I was gonna say Priya's got to work out her security.
Yeah, I know. She got, for someone who's in the biz like this, you probably.
I liked her character too. But
it's a decent character, yeah.
I like how he tells.
He already has the entire security force locked down Robert Pattinson's character.
Yeah, I mean they folded real quick.
Exactly.
They didn't really protect them.
One man with a gun against 5 guys who are all sitting there.
But you know what I want to say before we jump from the scene? Because right now he has Sanjay kneeling down and he has a gun to his head. But he's smooth. Like, even when he grabbed him, he is calm, this guy. He's control of his emotions. He's very, like, I love his banter. Right? Yes, I'm sorry, talking about the protagonist. He's, you know, he's like, stay back. And she's pressing her alarm button.
He definitely shows, I have no qualms of murdering you in cold blood right here. I'm going to pause it real quick,
because we've got a couple things to talk about over here. This is a
very
long movie.
This is going to be a 3-hour review before we know it.
But he basically, when he, like I said, just the scene where he, actually, I think I'm going to rewind it real quick. The scene where he jumps up, says, stay back, and pushes him to the ground. And then, you know, tries to get him to talk, you know, saying, listen, this isn't, you know, he's calm and wants his information.
And one thing to observe, the Neil, Robert Pattinson's character, he's like, don't let the alarm go cold. As in, they want the alarm to continue for some reason. You'll find out later in a moment.
Oh, I thought they were talking about his food. I thought they were saying, when he says, don't let it get cold.
Maybe they are talking about the food.
Meaning, eat your dinner. That's what I thought he was saying.
Oh, well, I could be.
Two of them are eating their dinner.
You know what? That's fair. I could be completely wrong. I thought they were talking about the alarm because the alarm is active in that scene. You see it like blaring overhead.
And I like his where he says, "You're an arms dealer. This is the easiest trigger I ever had to pull. Or I ever could pull. Or whatever."
Little does he know, you know, the truth. You know, it's
and
not
now
face.
Priya does the hand gesture and says
literally in front of them,
and then he does it back because it's very subtle hand gesture.
Literally, it just looks like she's just sitting there, arms crossed. Not crossed.
Now,
fingers
crossed. I did not notice that the first time.
Fingers interlaced. Excuse me.
And I did not notice that he did it back the second time.
It's so subtle you forget.
Yeah.
Like, as a moviegoer, it's a blink and you miss the finger sign, and then half the people in the movie are doing it, and that's when all of a sudden the protagonist is like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but he's a perceptive smart
yes,
character, smart
yes,
guy, you
yes.
know.
He is.
He's very aware. Well, I guess you have to be if
There
you're going to be
are
a
there.
former CIA. Is he a CIA
We don't know.
or was CIA
You don't
agent?
know. I don't
Yeah.
think you don't know. From what I remember in the
He's
movie,
definitely obviously an
he's an
operative, but we
operative of
don't
some
know what
kind.
organization he's with.
So my
Obviously,
theory,
it was U.S.,
my
but
theory is future him got whatever tangential organization to Tenet to grab him and work with him as spec ops or whatever, and that's how he got in that opera job, which is how he was then sucked into it. So presumably, future him sucked himself into the
I missed
biz.
that good part too when he said it's going to take a fresh protagonist to get to Seder.
Yes,
She reveals Seder is the one,
the third named character in the movie.
introduces Seder in the movie.
That's
And you need a fresh-faced protagonist, someone,
yes.
and you are fresh as a daisy. I love the way she said that. I thought that was so funny.
And of course the cops
Yeah.
are
The cops are looking the wrong direction.
clueless,
And they just pop right into the
They
Mumbai
still have the
market.
special vests on. No one notices them.
Oh, here we go. Now we have him walking in to this very hoity-toity, snobby
Hotel, restaurant.
No,
thing.
I think it's a private club. And what I love about him is that he handles the snobbery
Interestingly,
very well.
he misses. You could tell he's not used to it. He clears up. He messes up two things, but he's used to dealing with them. You could tell.
Yeah, definitely.
Or
But
at least he's used to messing with them because of the food later.
Yeah, he's definitely.
One more thing, classic Chris Nolan staple is they got. Oh my gosh, what's his actor's name?
Second. I'm gonna look it up because I literally forgot his name.
For time's sake, we can keep it going. I'll keep talking while you look it up.
Well, I want to say who, because I want to talk about the snobbery part.
Well,
not that it's a big part of it, but I just thought it was funny.
The point is, it shows that he is very well adept at certain aspects of culture. Like he's not just a physical operative; he's covert as well. Hints CIA.
Well,
talks
I think
about
it's the money. He was really trying to also relay the money thing, the billionaire thing.
But then it turns out he's wearing like a cheap suit, which
No,
they
it
point out.
wasn't cheap. It was from Brooks Brothers.
Oh, but that gave it away.
Is what
It's what a normal person would think is expensive.
Right, even just an average
She's
person
average in
would
that
say,
sense.
hey, $400, $500, $600 for a suit is a lot of money.
100%.
And Brooks Brothers, but this guy's like, wait a minute, you need I guess the custom tailor. I don't know.
So this is also the huge info dump right now on the antagonist of the movie, Sator.
I think we have to pause this for a second.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be a 3-hour review.
Because
I am pausing.
No, I'm just saying because a lot happens in this scene, and we have
true.
to get his name.
Well,
Michael Caine.
Michael.
Oh my God, how could I forget?
Caine.
How could I forget this guy? He's been in a million movies, and he's
Chris
been
Nolan
in
staple.
so many Christopher Nolan movies.
Famously, Alfred and Batman and
Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises.
He was in another funny Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I love
classic,
him.
laid back.
So funny.
Interstellar.
That's right. He was in Interstellar.
Inception.
Inception.
He's a scientist or whatever,
Yeah.
Professor in Inception. He is an Interstellar as the scientist guy who finds half
and the
formula.
father. Oh no, was he the father of
Father of
Anne Hathaway?
I
Not
don't
Anne.
remember. Doesn't matter as much, but
Am I saying
he's
that
obviously
right?
directly related
Yeah.
to one of the characters. At least he's like their mentor in a way, at minimum. Anywho, here he is at the guest appearance. But we skipped over a lot of information. He talks about Sator's weakness, quote unquote, his wife.
But we have to start from the beginning of that scene. So
All right,
he
so we're
walks
gonna rewind
in,
a little bit here.
and he makes that little quip to the waiter. I mean, no, he says, "I'll have the same," and they goes, "I'll send the waiter." He's like, "No, just pass the order." I mean, I agree.
He thinks
I would
of
do the same
that's
thing.
a normal person
Yeah.
move.
I'd be like, he's like the maitre d' is too good to take the order.
Exactly. That's another hoity-toity thing,
Yeah.
which is it's just the point that this dude is in with this kind of crowd,
Yes,
very British, posh.
Yeah, very right. Obviously not a $100,000 a year guy. This is multi-billionaire people with different level, and the snobbery just oozes out.
Tells the maitre d', nah, just pass the order along. Come on, man.
I love it. I know. Well, honestly, I do. But now he's talking about Seder.
Now he gives away. Yeah, Seder is in with the intelligence, the Anglo-Russian intelligence crowd. he is an Anglo-Russian. He's in the intelligence crowd.
And he reveals about the closed
The city,
Russian cities, which I never knew about.
What is it called?
Stalsk
12.
There it is.
There we go.
Stalsk 12.
In the 70s, probably 200,000.
I think anyone at a certain age doesn't
Isn't it the
realize
final battle scene?
how.
That city?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
But I think that with the Soviet Union, there was a lot of things that were very hidden and secret.
Oh yeah, it plays off that.
Yeah.
It plays off that for sure.
But I think like certain younger, maybe people in their 20s don't realize that. And
oh yeah, down the memory hole from the boomers.
Living through the Cold War as I did, I remember that. Like everything was very secretive. It was very
to be fair, a little realistic touch here. We don't know how many black sites the Russians are still keeping.
Yeah.
Secret, just because of how they, the way the Cold War ended with the fall of the Soviet Union. How many things might have just been lost? Period.
Yeah.
We know about, the infamous Chernobyl. That's only because it affected so many people. It was impossible for them to keep up. What about how many mini Chernobyls do we not know about?
Well, that's the thing. There's so many. I mean, but that is, the way the Soviet Union was.
The movie plays off.
All about keeping secret. Nobody. It's.
Anyway, it establishes here in the movie this is essentially Soviet abandoned city, and then they talk about this detonation.
Yes, on the same day as the opera.
Yes.
Siege.
Because remember, again, people who don't know the movie, but people who do, they go forward and back. They invert themselves.
And then they also introduce his wife here, saying that he, infiltrated the English society.
Basically, pretty much all you need to know is whenever the characters are alone in a box, there's a time jump. They're on a ship or a boat or a box or a shipping container.
But now here, this is very important. He goes, "We have an ace in the hole."
An ice in the hole.
And this part's funny.
And it's a
You're
fake
carrying a Goya in a Harrods bag.
Yeah. Which,
talk
again,
about
in the
posh.
hoity-toity, yeah.
He's like, I'll just carry my Goya in the Harrods bag.
Well, because they both know it's a fake one,
I know,
it's funny.
He didn't know at that moment, though. That's just very funny to me.
Yes. Who do you think bought it at the auction? Oh, yeah.
And they talk about that they introduced Thomas Arepo. They introduced Kat, Sater's wife. Says they're estranged. He actually gives a lot of information right now.
There's a huge info dump for the audience, which you can miss so much in the first go-through.
You really got to watch this. Plus, it's probably one of my favorite scenes. You want to know the truth?
Well, because Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine. It's Michael Caine. You got to get it right.
And then he's like, I like that part. When he
Brits
says,
don't have a monopoly
on snobbery. Oh, we're controlling interest. Oh, this part's my favorite part.
Can you box that for me? Absolutely not.
They bring him the food, and he's like, "Can you box that up for me?"
Yeah, that makes you actually listen to him. Exactly.
It's funny because I would do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can you box that out for me? Yeah. I need to, I don't want to cook tonight.
It does bring the relation. It makes the character more down to earth.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a little
I like
thing.
That. Yeah.
But here also this car scene. He's observing the wife of Sater, the wife of the antagonist, Kat. I think her name is. They introduced.
We probably should have talked more about that other scene.
That's the
Not
other
this
car.
scene, but the other scene. But that's up to you.
I just want to point out.
Yeah.
There's a scene later where it's revealed that's the same corner that Priya meets her in. That's the same street corner.
Yes, that's right.
Because it's where she picks up her
son
from
school.
school.
Is. Yeah, I do remember that.
And it's interesting, in terms of the characterization between Sater and his wife Kat. It's quite horrifying if you think about it, where it's revealed, spoiler again, that the one mistake she made in her career was not realizing that Goya was fake. Has been held over her head for who knows how long. I think she says by her husband.
Going to say this.
Yes, she reveals
at the dinner that's coming up next.
Exactly, her husband's blackmailing her to control her son, her life, everything.
But let's talk about that when the scene comes up, because it really is. Because I think initially she thinks he, the protagonist is going to blackmail her.
Well, yeah, you can't blame her for being skeptical. Yeah.
But basically, she says you're kind of too late because
I'm already being blackmailed.
My husband's already doing it.
Information's the bargain. Yeah,
So,
she thinks she wants to defraud the husband or something. It's always related to
well,
her husband,
think
which is
about it. He's trying to get an in to Seder.
exactly.
So he's thinking,
He's doing the ass
I'm
to
trying to I have the
to
information.
leverage somebody.
Right. But it doesn't matter because she's like, it doesn't.
Ain't gonna work on me, buddy.
And also, too, that she also sees that he's out of his depth. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? They're in a world
Like
where a $9 million vacation is normal for them.
yeah, he's
You know?
skilled, but not that skilled.
Yeah, I think
So
most average people wouldn't be well versed in that world.
I do want to point out some of the critiques of this movie at this point. We have a moment while they're just sitting staring at each other.
She's very poignant here. I feel you really feel her sadness
Oh yeah, she
there.
admits,
And I think Elizabeth Debicki is also come.
yeah,
like,
the actress,
really,
that's the actress by the way for
yes, who
Kat.
plays Kat. I like her a lot. People may not realize that she was also in Great Gatsby. She played their
That's
friend.
right, she was the friend.
Oh my goodness, what was the character?
I do not like that movie. Just point that out there.
Well, I like The Great Gatsby, but I'm not sure if I like this version of it.
Yeah,
But
I like the OG one where they filmed on location rather than everything being a CGI
Yeah.
snooze
Well,
fest.
that's it too. We live,
In a
if you live
society.
near the Gold Coast of Long Island, you want to see the
Actual
the
coast,
actual mansions that the
I don't know who
characters took
the
place
absolute
in.
genius, I say that in quotes, decided let's put everything in CGI. Like who, I'm sure that's a post-production nightmare.
She plays Jordan Baker in The
There
Great
you go.
Gatsby. And I really liked her character a lot. She was very good. She's a very tall actress. She's like 6'3".
Oh yeah.
And she,
Tall
her hair was
mean.
dark in the movie, but
Yeah, they
in
dyed
this, yes, for Great Gatsby, but here, in this scene when she's sitting with the protagonist having dinner, drinks.
Oh yeah, the whole dynamic changed. Her emotions change when she admits the truth.
Yes, and I think she was relieved to admit the truth.
To someone, anyone.
I think she couldn't tell anybody. If you think about it.
Well, she couldn't because she had a fear.
Right. But my point is, she was holding this in. Who was she going to talk to?
Yeah, you can see it in her face.
Now, for some reason, she felt, I could tell you this guy.
Well,
right?
First she points out, you're out of your depth here, buddy.
Right. Yes.
Maybe, I could tell you this. I could finally, feel comfortable telling you this, because either you're going to die the next day, or you're someone I could trust. Either one.
Well, look at her face. Like, she really has,
you can see a bit of the look, too.
You could really see, like, this is where obviously you could tell the acting quality, but just the emotion that's on her face, and just that she's so, like, she is in despair, and, that she is so relieved to tell somebody that I've been living, it looks wonderful, but I've been living in misery.
Oh, yeah, it's a gilded cage, they call it now.
Yeah, yes, very good. I knew you had a term, but here we go.
For those that don't know, we paused
we
it
still
again.
have 2
we're
hours.
We're at the solid half hour. We like going in depth here.
I'll be honest with you, the first hour is the most important anyway.
I do want to point out quick.
I feel bad for her. I feel so bad for her.
One of the critiques of the movie was that the protagonist was a little too Gary Stu-ish. For those who don't know, Gary Stu is the male counterpart to a Mary Sue, who is basically the super perfect, everyone loves me type character. Which, to be fair, rewatching this movie, I don't think that's true. The protagonist, he has a crap ton of skills.
I didn't even ever heard of that before.
Well, we'll get into that later. But he has a crap ton of skills. He's very adept at situations, but he is immediately called out in multiple scenarios. 3, Priya, Michael Caine's character, and Kat here. Everyone's like, you're out of your goddamn depth, dude. His skill set is only really good at combat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? You see his personal emotional growth too in the movie.
Yeah, he's invested now.
Now he's invested, but I think he, it taps some emotion, and I guess he begins to care about Kat, and it shows his, and
later he definitely cares about her. Here he's like,
it almost screwed everything up because of his emotion.
Here
for
he's
her.
empathizing with her.
Yeah,
because he's trapped too.
But this is great. This part we just missed it before the thugs come in.
Well, yeah, he just wants
when he says,
she
goes, "I might be your second chance." She's like, "I don't need redemption." He goes, "No, a betrayal." And I was like, "Ooh, I love that," because he's like, "You know what? You didn't miss your chance." Because she said, "I missed my opportunity with Tomas Arepo," but he's like, "Wait a minute!" And now her eyes perk up.
Yeah, he's giving her.
She's thinking about that.
he figures out the best way to
He's smart.
get her.
He's very clever
Oh,
to
here's
think
another
about it.
villain, a sub-villain
But before
character.
you talk about the villain, but he is smart enough to say, all right, you missed that opportunity. He picked it up real fast.
Yeah, he figured it out. So
Yeah.
you still see.
I'm going to give you another chance.
He was caught up beforehand, but
This
he
is your
rebounds.
chance.
He
Yeah.
rebounds.
Yeah. And he kisses her goodbye. The thugs come in, and she's like, oh, you're not going to be taking my call. And I love this part because I thought, oh my God, he's not going to say anything. And then he goes, I might surprise you. And he does.
Silly. But
I love this part. The fight scenes, I have to tell you.
There's one or two that are iffy.
I've watched a million movies. I can't even tell you how many movies I've watched. But the fight scene, I thought was really good in the kitchen.
Oh, it's coming up, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the villains, he's recurring. I think he comes back later. He's in the final battle.
Volkov.
Too. Volkov, that's it.
And here he is. Now he's brought into the kitchen.
Yeah, you hanging out with my boss's wife. Time to get beaten the
He
fuck
goes,
up.
I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago. And then he gets a big punch to the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
That must
Sucker
hurt.
punch in the ribs.
I can't even imagine. Now they're going to try to crush his hand with a meat hammer. A meat
he reacts quickly. This is where
that's what I'm saying. The fight scene is good.
Mm-hmm. Speed. And Volkov just shakes his head.
Oh, he almost had his hand crush, this poor guy. But gets out greater and grates this guy's face.
He's just scratching him.
Which I don't like to watch, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, and when he slaps him, you can hear the scraping sound.
What is interesting, and I must be his
You're right
training.
about the perception, though.
Yeah.
He finds objects here and there. Almost Jackie Chan-like, using the environment.
But you know what he did, Mac? I don't know if you noticed. His eyes are on that guy, for lack of better words. The thug or whoever's trying to beat him up. And his eyes are on him, but yet he sees the plates in his periphery and flings them at him. Same thing with the grater. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. He's Jackie Chan-like in that he uses the environment to his advantage. If you've ever seen a Jackie Chan movie,
so yeah,
that's all he ever does.
And before we get into the school scene, he kicks the that giant thug who's going to break his hand in a million pieces out the door, and poor Cat thinks,
a bit, but yeah.
Poor Cat. Well, after he beat him up and then kicked him right out the door.
Yes.
And then he lands in the garbage. Cat thinks it's going to be him beat up, and she turns around. She opens her eyes and she sees him walking down.
It's a moment of relief for her.
Yes, a moment of relief. But it's funny because I love how this is like fantastic.
She's like, "You won't be returning my call," because
Yeah.
she's so certain that the thugs will get to him.
Right. I mean, he's. I think these fight scenes are great, honestly.
Okay, again, there's one or two that are iffy, but only because the choreography had to be weird for literally time related.
But look at this part. He
she
comes
her eyes,
walking out,
opens,
and look at him. Like, I love that. He
fixes his suit
jacket.
like a badass. Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Great character.
Realize that this dude might be something. She
And
realizes.
he's an excellent actor. I think he's really good.
He's up and coming. We'll see.
Yeah.
We don't know at this point what else he's in.
I hope he plays this character again. I think this movie is worthy of a sequel. Now we're at the school. I guess we should jump ahead.
Not everything needs a sequel.
Everything needs a sequel.
For reference, my mom here is a lover of many trilogies, Lord of the Rings included.
Love trilogies.
All the director's cuts, the 5-hour cuts, the 15-hour super marathon.
Oh my God, I was on such a Lord of the Rings kick. Maybe we'll get into that one day. I don't know if I have. That's going to be a very long podcast.
Anyway, but
well, here we're at the school.
We should get back to business. More information dump. You know, they talk about the painting that Cat has, the other fake.
Well, first, let me just jump ahead. First, he sees her vulnerability.
Right in the
vulnerability with her son that is now being taken away by the nanny because they're ordered to, directed by Seder, the father. And she's so sad, right? And then he comes up. Well, it is sad because you can see it's painful for her. But now they're talking. He asked bluntly, "Where's the painting?" And she said they're at a free port. Now they're going into the whole description of what a free port is. Go ahead, Matt.
No, that's it. They're just they're going in.
I mean, very smart. I wonder if this really exists.
Basically,
is there a free port? Or is that all made up?
But the free ports.
Right? Is that a real thing?
I have no idea. I guess the idea is that they're special vaults. But
no, but it's not that they're special vaults.
Well,
they're
exhibits.
for
not exhibits.
No. They're for rich people or people who have art, antiquities that don't have to pay tax. So I guess an airport is kind of like why it's called a free port is a free
it's
zone.
literally in an airport.
So
Yeah.
it basically is you do not have to pay tax on that because it's basically an airport is kind of like an international
I guess that's
hub,
the idea.
right?
You'd think that
It's a
because
storage. It's a
'cause you get
high-end storage unit.
yeah, because you also
basically.
get like tariff-free alcohol in airports. So, like,
Yes,
yeah.
so that's the
That could
idea
I think that's the idea. I
that
don't know if this
rich
is real.
people could go visit their art or their
Right. They
properties,
store their stuff there.
store their stuff,
Have
and they
little
don't have to
private
pay.
exchanges.
Right, like they were talking how they compare it to the Swiss bank accounts, which is another reason why
Something behind the
in the
scenes.
past you could put money there and basically kind of
Switzerland is
evade
always
taxes.
Oh man, the Swiss banks. Everyone knows them, but
Because they're very protective
we
of
skipped
their
over here
clients.
going on this tangent, which in case you don't know us, we like to go on tangents. But basically, what happened, a little synopsis, is as Kat and the protagonist were talking about the art exhibits, the free ports, we cut ahead while they're talking to Neil's character, again, what's the actor? Robert Pattinson's character.
Robert Pattinson.
They're already in the airport while they're talking. It's one of those like time-saving cuts in a movie where two characters describe a scene as the scene in the future plays out, which is kind of
What is that called? That's good. I didn't know that.
that's it. No, I don't remember.
It's
I don't know
kind
if
of like a
word for it.
flashback, or not
Flash
a flashback.
forward.
Flash forward, yeah.
It's a little bit of flash forward while they're describing. A lot of
Right.
heist movies do that.
Whose
Ocean's
movie?
11 does that.
Oh yeah.
They plan it out and they talk about the plan and you see the plan in action as they're talking about the plan.
Right.
They're doing that here a little bit. And also it's funny because this is a very time-oriented movie, so yeah, a little on the nose there, but it makes sense.
Yeah, I like his scarf in this scene.
Oh yeah, he's got
chic.
a dress jacket, a suit jacket, and a button down and a scarf.
And I also love this actor. He's fantastic.
Oh, he's in a bunch. He was in Inception.
He was in the movie.
Wasn't he?
He was in Yesterday. He played the kid.
Oh, he was the main character in Yesterday.
Yes, I love that. I got to see that in
toothless guy.
Yes, it was a toothless. He had a very bad bicycle accident.
Yeah, didn't he lose a tooth though?
He lost two front teeth.
In character, not in the real life.
But what's his name? Let's find out. I hope I'm saying this correctly. Himesh Patel?
Himesh Patel, okay.
I think I'm saying it correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. Himesh.
Oh, Himesh.
Himesh? Say it again?
It says Him?
Yes.
Himesh.
There you go. Thank you. I'm sorry.
If I recall correctly.
Patel.
I could be mispronouncing
He plays
it. Any
Nahir.
Indians in the office, forgive me.
Yeah.
In the office, in the audience.
So, I love this guy. He's another great actor. So calm. We should go back a second because we sadly.
Well, yeah, it's introductions. You find out this dude's another operative.
No, but there's some funny scenes here.
Yeah, there's a little comedy here and there. They find out he's another operative. They didn't have to do the hand sign, but he's another one that's in that realm, the Twilight realm, he calls it, with the passcode in the beginning.
Yeah, but this is funny. He's like, when he says, "Oh, that idea is bold," he goes, "Oh, bold I can deal with." He goes, "I thought you were gonna say crazy or whatever." What did he say? But he's like another calm as a cucumber. Cool as a cucumber. I got that wrong.
You find it odd,
like, cool.
Let's come up with a distraction. Oh, gold bars. Yeah, everyone loves gold. Let's throw that all over the tarmac.
Then you realize later whose gold it is. It's Sater's
gold.
Oh,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that comes into play.
It's a Sater.
But yeah, they think of this crazy idea. But I like that the protagonist wears his polo.
Everyone's very well dressed this
I
movie.
really like
It's kind of a callback to spy thrillers where everyone's well dressed, snappy, unless they're of course in disguise like they are now. In case you're watching the movie, we are now at the airport scene before they crash the plane into the side of the free port, quote unquote. Right when the final flash forward, where now we're caught up. Himesh's character, he's now boarding the plane.
I believe his name is in the movie.
Yes.
And there's another guy that you don't really know.
The fourth guy doesn't really matter.
He shows up later.
Yeah.
But you'll see why.
Yeah.
In a few
Himesh's character, he does show up later in the movie for another big role.
Yeah.
And also, I just want to point out, every choke out in this movie, no one does the sound.
I know.
It's like choke out immediately
No
silent.
one is alarmed. But I realized they obviously have some sort of chemical.
Oh no, the
Yeah.
first one they didn't show anything. It
Yeah,
was just
see
choke
here?
out. Here he used chloroform.
And it was right on his nose.
Yeah, he misses the mouth a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. It went in his nose.
The actor, if you're listening in, the actor misses the mouth a little bit and gets the chloroform over the nose, which is fine.
Well,
But the stunt guy that he's grabbing forcibly keeps his mouth shut, and goes limp, and it's immediate. Like, there's a struggle. If you ever see other movies that do it better with chloroform, there's always a struggle before they breathe it in and then eventually go under.
But this part I like too. You got the protagonist and Neil
going in
to look at they're going to put their art in, right?
Yeah.
And he's got, no, it's not a tea, it's espresso. He asks them.
Right, that's right. He likes espresso.
What? He goes, can I get you anything?
Espresso.
Anything, water, coffee,
he
whatever.
For espresso,
and he's like, I'll take an espresso. And I was like, you know what? I would do the same thing. I'd be like, yeah, I'm on a secret mission, but I'll take an espresso.
I need to stay alert. Give me some coffee, damn it.
No, I thought it was funny though. I was like, all right, yeah, I'm on a mission, but I can still have a beverage.
And here's the gold bars. They're prepping. Yeah. They're prepping delivery. One guy, the guy steals a bar. I didn't know that.
And another scene, he pays for that. You may not remember.
I don't.
Now,
to be fair to people listening, I have not seen the movie through completely. I've seen it on TV a few times, so my mom loves to replay it.
I'm still trying to figure it all out. But
that's true.
Listen, my husband can't stand that I watch movies over and over again.
Yeah.
But the reason I do that is because I want to pick up these subtleties and the scenes that I've missed. Yeah. And honestly, I would have never noticed half this stuff if I didn't watch this movie repeatedly.
And it's funny, the yoga, they're holding their breaths for the gas that they know is going to come. And I think it's real funny. And they pretend, oh yeah, we're just holding our breath for yoga, and the guy doesn't bat an eye.
Yeah.
The art broker doesn't care. Like, wait, what? Like I said, there's little things here and there that they skimp over. Like, there's a very Chris Nolan thing to focus on the larger plot, the overarching plot, and kind of skimp over little bitty details here and there, like the choke outs or the weird.
When they hear us driving the plane, and he's taking utter pure enjoyment.
Yeah, he's enjoying it, like he's crashing everything, like a kid's dream.
And now this is interesting too. They go down a ladder. Now they have to leave the plane.
If people that are listening,
but how does he jump it off? I mean, the plane is still booking.
Well, he's going to roll.
Moving.
But
you can get caught under the wheels,
yes,
right?
They skimp over. Chris Nolan skims over. It's another thing Chris Nolan skims over.
Right into the Freeport.
The point is, yes, right into the Freeport in the airport.
And now another important scene is coming up.
People listening, the plane has just crashed inside the building. Hamir and the other guy, Hamir's character, hopped out of the actually, this does exist in planes, is there's an emergency hatch underneath, cargo planes like this at least, to crawl down one of the landing gear. And then, of course, the art broker freaking ditches right after the plane crashes. They're holding their breath. They're ready to go. They do the whole in sync thing. They get out the secret lockpicks they had in their suitcases.
Smart. But they're calm. You got to respect that.
Oh, yeah, to keep the heart rate low. You want to hold your breath?
Yeah.
Anyone here that has held their breath?
And self-control.
Well, exactly. They're both, here you can tell both characters, the protagonist, skilled operative, has done this, done stuff like this before, is trained like this before. But here you see Patton's character, Neil. He's been trained this before too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's done this a million times too, which is like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
Later it's revealed who the heck he really is. Protagonist messes up, breaks the lockpick.
Yeah.
Breaks the lockpick, excuse me.
And the halide gas is flooding the area, and they're desperate. They're holding their breath. You can really see Robert Pattinson, Neil,
struggling a little bit.
Struggling. He's like, oh my God, how are we getting out of here?
Yeah.
And then he got it finally.
Figures
and
it out,
gasping for air.
One thing that was kind of silly to me, like, of course the gas is visible.
Well,
you can see the gas. It's coming to get you.
I guess you have to show a visual for the audience,
yeah, the audience.
Right?
You can't have it invisible. But here, they break through to the edge of the Freeport, which is now not really something super secret, because they find out the plans in the intro to the heist here.
Well, now they're in
this
the
is the Blacks area, the center of it.
Center of the Freeport.
Exactly.
Which, remember, they wasn't marked.
That's
on
what I'm saying. That's what I was just saying. Exactly. They revealed this is something that's not in the map or not in the blueprint.
And it's a very eerie feeling.
This is also the culmination of remember the detritus coming from the future,
Yes.
and it's revealed that this is an object that's been planted from the future, as in like they
Yeah.
send over bits and pieces of the material, invert them so they travel back in time, it's people in the past build it because they're given the knowledge from the past, or messengers.
Well,
It doesn't make much sense, but it's revealed that
but
stuff's coming
there's
from
a
the future.
big fight scene coming up.
It's about to happen.
Okay?
It's an inverted fight scene.
It's right, but when you first see it, you don't know that.
Yes.
But you know it's odd.
Well,
So
it's
when the
so
guy
odd.
jumps out, you have to look at the way he jumps out.
Yeah, he does like a reverse leap.
It's gonna make more sense later.
Yeah. We'll skip
But now
over.
look how he jumps out. See, he
He's
jumps
facing the
out
wrong direction, but leaps backwards into him.
literally backwards. But I did not notice that at first. It took me a little
And the
while.
gun
Yeah.
assembles itself in reverse. And by
Yeah.
the way, there's the same gun disarming move that the protagonist, did later in the
Yes,
beginning.
he did at the beginning of the
Which,
opera.
Spoiler,
Yeah.
It turns out that's the protagonist at the tail
Yeah.
end of the fight, defending himself from past self. It's a
Okay.
little silly, but it makes sense in relation to the movie. We'll get to that later. While they're fighting right now, I have a moment to talk.
And the fight before you
is so awkward.
It's so you could see there two almost like a magnetic force. So
Well, yes.
instead of like when you have two magnets and you hold it together,
It's-
right?
That's
and
the,
you could feel like there's
you can tell with the choreography.
Yeah.
That's what they were told to do.
Yes.
And of course,
But
unfortunately,
don't you think that's a good analogy?
it's a good
Acknowledge my analogy.
It is a good analogy. I do acknowledge it.
Right, because
Can I just
think
say
about
one
it.
thing quick? Well,
Go ahead.
there's some points where it's repelled, some points where it's attracted.
Yes.
Here, Robert Pattinson pulls the mask off the guy, eventually revealed to be the future person who the protagonist at the moment thinks that they're just two people, but they're not. They're the same person that went through the time machine, the inversion machine. Excuse me. Point is, what I was trying to say is that this fight scene has been ragged on when this movie first came out for being extremely awkward.
Right. I could see why people would think
Because
that.
people think, like, okay, they're just tossing it around. And the music, unfortunately, Hans Zimmer is a great musician.
Oh, I love the music.
Composer, amazing composer. However, it's just like it's a very standard action theme. And unfortunately, this awkward shoe stepping noises and just shoving, and that's it. And
But you don't understand why it doesn't make sense.
Yes, to people, the audience, the first time around,
you're like,
don't know.
it's so odd, and even this part, and it all makes sense you'll see later on.
For reference, he gets sucked through that.
And they're like, wait a minute.
Because it is a little annoying if you think about it conceptually, but basically he gets sucked through that door. The door moves in reverse, but he gets sucked underneath it because he's moving in inverted time. The engine is sucking in real time. But in reverse time, it's blowing.
Yep.
So he gets blown out from the engine through the door. So the door therefore buckles because he's moving backwards, but it reacts in real time, so it moves. It's.
Now they're pretending to be saved.
Yeah, they lie down and pretend to be saved, to be knocked out. Back where they started, by the way. They went back to where they started.
Yeah.
So the art dealer isn't questioning anything. That machine, by the way, I want to point that out. The machine was broken because of the glass panes. You cannot break them, otherwise the whole point of the time machine's ruined.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So,
but they were fixed.
Because it was fixed, quote unquote, because the thing that damaged it was reversing. So as that reversed, the machine was restored, which is right on time for when the guy jumped in and out.
Right. Oh, I didn't know anything about the glass.
I think.
You don't know that for
I might be a little
sure.
off. I don't know for sure. Actually, I could be completely wrong because the machine still works with the windows.
Yeah,
broken.
I don't think the glass is anything to do with it.
But it is interesting. Regardless.
You're supposed to remember. He said it's the proofing glass. You'll see that at the end.
Yeah.
But now they're done with that scene.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's supposed to be airtight because people that are inverted have to have air supply because air will come out of their lungs in reverse because time. Because they can't reverse the air around them. They can only reverse the person,
I don't know if we missed important dialogue. They talk about the plutonium quickly.
Yes, they're talking about it's okay. They talk about essentially
but
there's
now
also about plutonium.
he's back with Priya in Mumbai.
Yes.
And she's like, what did you find?
Two antagonists went inverted. So yeah, he still thinks it's two people.
Yeah.
Turns out him, of course.
Well, don't say yet.
Oh no, she's revealed. It's the same
Okay.
person.
Yes.
Well, I already spoiled it. Remember,
All right.
we're doing full spoiler review. And the technology hasn't been invented yet. Then it's revealed. This is hinted at in the beginning that the detritus, the pieces of stuff, almost Terminator 2-esque.
Yeah.
Objects are being sent back in time to
we
create
should do
these
the
things.
Terminator 2 is another good
That's
one
another
to
movie
go
we should
through. That's
review
one
later.
of my all-time favorites.
Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff jam-packed in that movie too.
I think also you really see that Priya has a lot of information.
To be, her only mistake is that actually, what the heck is her character mistake in the end? She goes a little too far. She thinks she's a mastermind, but she's also a pawn.
Being attacked by the future, she says. Now she's in, I believe they're in Italy.
Yeah, they skip
my
forward.
favorite country.
Another thing with time in this movie. For
they
time
did
saving,
jump ahead. So we went from India.
So much. Literally a blink and you go from Mumbai to, I think, you're right, Italy. I think.
They're somewhere on the Mediterranean. Oh no, they're definitely down
what the
south.
heck? Oslo.
We're in Oslo. They're definitely they're in Italy.
No.
You know why? Because remember she wants to go to Pompeii and Herculean. And that Pompeii is south of Naples, so they're on the kind of by Amalfi.
In case you can't tell, my mom's Italian. She loves Italy. She knows all that stuff.
I love Italy. I hope to be there one day. We'll see.
Here they're planning the introduction finally between the protagonist and the antagonist, who they did, of course the names are on the nose there, but so they're talking about yachting. They're talking about how they the cover for how they met, which Sator sees through eventually. Spoiler. Oh no, what's the thing? But yeah, so
that's some yacht.
There's Volkov again. That's such a evil Russian name, Volkov.
Beautiful. Yeah, but it's beautiful Italian port, and they're gonna
go on a yacht soon.
Go on the mega oligarch's yacht, which has a missile defense system. Can you imagine?
Yeah, hidden missile defense
system. But look
how
beautiful. You can look at Italy in the background, somewhere in Amalfi.
Probably Amalfi,
I believe.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Chris Nolan, he films on location, so he probably did rent out a yacht for this.
Yeah, why not? Well, he's got to. I think that's pretty much where Sator, that's his kind of evil lair.
Oh yeah, of course. Again, this is a spy movie at its core. I think it just has the time flair.
Yeah.
That's another thing to note. This is a spy thriller.
Yeah, it kind of could be. Sator is kind of like. Could feel like a little bit of an Austin Powers villain.
But I think they try to play him as a James Bond villain.
Yeah.
He's like, I have this time plot to destroy existence.
Yes.
That's such a James Bondy thing.
And also, toward the end, he's like a little ridiculous, I thought. But we'll get into that, I'm sure.
My one mistake was bringing into the sun of the world that I was going to destroy anyway.
And he's like, you're a madman. And he goes, or maybe I'm a god.
Or maybe I'm a god. Like, oh, God, yeah. That is one of the, I will say, one of the fair critiques of this movie that came out, when it came out, is Sator's character. He's a little too villainous.
A little cartoonish.
Cartoonishly villainous, yes.
But, he's
horrible to his wife.
Though. Listen, and
wants to kill
Kenneth Branagh, I thought it was good. Branagh, I think is how you pronounce his
they characterize him as, the spoiler, he's a dude who has terminal cancer, or at least terminal illness, brought on, by the way, by his time in that Stalska 12.
Now, this is interesting. They're also having this, they're at the dinner now. He's just been approved to go in, and they're having this beautiful Italian dinner.
Volkov again.
You can't imagine that Sator has any friends. But I guess
it's all rich elite. They're just there to save face. It's how it is, right?
Like, the
rich
even
people
villain has some friends to have Italian dinner with. And Sator gets right down to it.
Yeah,
he's like, did you sleep with my wife yet?
Yeah.
He's like, and the protagonist's like, not yet.
How do you want to die? And then he gives him the whole balls and throat speech. Which,
old.
Jesus.
I love what he says. His answer. How do you want to die? Old.
That's a reference.
That's a great answer.
No, that's actually, there's a historical thing about that. I might go on a tangent quick. Here's what he gives a ball speech right now. People listening in.
Yeah, he has this graphic way to kill him, which is very graphic, and I won't.
I'm going to pause it quick. Very quick story. I'm a history buff. People that don't know. Basically, the thing he just referenced, which is how do you want to die? Old. There was in real life. There was a king who had a court jester who pestered him for the entire time he had him. I don't remember the king, don't remember the jester, it doesn't matter as much for the story. This was a real event, though, you can Google it. Basically, the jester smacked the king on the butt and was like, and the king was like, rightfully, like, what the heck? What are you thinking? I'm the freaking king here.
Don't touch me.
Why would you smack me in the bum? And the jester replied, "Oh, sorry, I thought you were the queen." And
Oh my God.
so this is a real story. So the jester is then sentenced to death, rightfully, by the king. He's like, all right, you're gonna die. And so the king, says to him, all right, how do you want to die? For some reason, the king gives him
A
a
choice.
choice. And what does the jester say? Of old age.
Perfect.
And so, again, real story, which is hilarious. And so what does the king do? He's like, all right, get out of my sight. He kicks him out of the court, but he lets him live. That's
You
how
can live.
you can live.
I command you can live.
No, not like that. But literally, yeah, it lets him live because it's like, I'm so sick of you. I don't want to kill you anymore because it'll make you happy.
He gets out of being killed with the slit throat, and
The movie's resumed.
when he says,
he mentions
"Do
the
you
opera.
like?" He goes, "Do you like opera?"
Exactly.
And then he's like, "Oh," stopped in his tracks.
Well, now Sator realizes
Yeah.
this guy is.
It's not just
he is more than just an a-hole who's getting close to his wife.
right,
He knows something.
and he's
Information is
But
huge
he
in
didn't
this
even.
movie.
I always say, why did he have to get up? He didn't even get to enjoy his
Well,
dinner.
he wanted to flaunt this. Does a pretend
Yeah,
kiss.
I guess they
mentions something in her
can't.
ear.
What is Christopher Nolan gonna do? Have them sit there for their beautiful Italian
Dinner.
intermezzo?
Buffet.
Yeah.
Intermezzo, yeah.
And now they hear her back on the yacht, and
Yeah,
she's a little
she
bit.
likes to critique him a lot into his
Yes.
face.
Well, I think she felt emboldened because she thought she got rid of the painting, but clearly he was one step
Yeah, he calls
ahead.
her out like, you're real
Yeah.
two-spirited today.
Really feel bad for her. She's just
And then
has
there's the
no-
painting on a platter, so he can cartoonishly remind
Yeah.
her, I'm the big bad, I
Yes.
control you, yada
I
yada.
control you.
It's a little too much, but like, if you're that much of a dick.
Exactly. And he is.
Here is the boat scene.
You can just see she's so miserable. I feel bad.
This-
She's like, I'm doing
to
this
be-
because I have to
To
do
be
this.
fair, though, this does foreshadow something.
Yes,
later
it
in the movie,
does.
where she jumps the gun.
Yes.
Literally jumps the gun with a gun. Spoiler. But she's in such a mood.
Well, I
and
think
she's like, all right,
she's
let him
much
drown.
stronger than she appears. I think
Yes.
she has that
She realizes.
as a character that she's been victimized by her
100%.
husband, and now she's like has really found that
Strength.
inner strength
Yeah.
to like I've got to get rid of it. But the inner strength to commit murder.
Literally kill her husband.
It's that bad.
But yeah, it's a little bit warped. But here, she realizes she can do it when she gets the chance. She's opportunistic, but it's still there. So anyway, it's the yacht scene. We have a moment to talk now. Is basically they're talking about the Russian missile station in was it Stalsk 12 again?
Yes.
The infamous city. You'll see it later in the movie.
And he knows, and you can see he's telling him, I know about that the
Missing
the
plutonium.
plutonium is missing.
Because he was told explicitly to lean on the plutonium aspect, not on the
Excuse me.
inverted material aspect,
Right.
not on the super secret
Yeah.
plot. And then here they're attacking. I used to be a boating guy. I love this kind of stuff.
I don't know. This is a high-powered. Talk about high-powered sailing on a catamaran.
Like these catamarans are like so light they can flip and destroy themselves. That's how not weak, but that's how fragile they are in a way.
And she's hooked up. Now they're talking about kind of working together. He's like, I wouldn't put them with you. You can take care of yourself. You know that good.
Yeah, I am evil Russian. Don't worry about it. Yeah, he thinks he's some intelligence agent.
Yeah.
Because like they're all about brokering intelligence. And then here,
I like how she
burn
looks
in hell.
burn in hell.
Crap.
I know.
It's like, wait, what? And she unbuckles it.
I have to say, when I first saw the movie, I did not expect her to do that. That was a shock. That was a surprise.
Yeah,
When she
it's
just
like
unhooks
It's a quick.
his tether
It's a quick
and
screw
lets
you.
him. Yeah, it's like F you,
Burn in hell.
Andre. You're gone.
And then, of course, somehow he gets knocked the hell out.
And then they jibe the boat, which
Yeah.
is not a good move.
Yeah, you
And
can't do that in a boat like that.
now,
Like I said, you can tear the boat apart.
Satyr saves. I mean, the
other way around.
protagonist
Saves
saves Satyr, which is actually a blessing for him. 'Cause
Well,
now,
yeah, it turns out he
Yeah.
saved the universe.
yeah, but not just that.
She's pissed.
He looks good in Satyr's eye, but Cat's very mad.
Yeah,
at
he
him,
bought himself
obviously.
some time with Satyr.
Yeah.
And he also saved the universe secretly. No one knows that except for Satyr.
Yes.
And he has to reveal to Kat that this is way bigger than some
Yes.
plutonium
Yeah.
and arms dealing.
All of
And,
our lives
and
in his
granted,
hands, not just yours.
exactly. Granted, the protagonist doesn't know how big it is. He just
Yeah.
knows the whole world's at stake.
Yeah.
He doesn't know the universe, existence, all that jazz.
You know what else, on a side note? When you listen to the dialogue and the script writing, I want to mention just the intelligence of it. It's very well written. I appreciate that. I love that. And the acting is great.
Yeah.
Really.
Again,
True
you have
pros.
the major spy thriller vibes.
Yep.
You know, they're in the belly of the beast on an evil Russian oligarch's yacht. The elegant wife is with the spy, and they're talking about the plot.
You know
You
what's
know,
funny? What I was thinking of with this guy, John David Washington.
yeah,
I was thinking, wow, he could be really like, you know how they're always, every few years they change James Bond, right?
yeah.
Like
Well, they want
Daniel
Idris
Craig's
Elba
done.
for a little bit, remember?
Yes, I do think Idris Elba would be great as Bond.
But you can tell
Because he's older.
Yes.
Don't forget. Now, but I was thinking, oh, he would be such a good
He
James
could be
Bond.
decent James
You want to
Bond.
know what? This character is 10 times better than James Bond. Because
Wow.
it's not hokey. You know, I love, Casino Royale is one of my favorite movies of all times.
We're gonna review
Favorite
that
James
one day.
Bond movies, but maybe we'll do that next. But honestly, his acting and his character in this movie it's much better than James Bond. He's as an actor is more deserving of this character than the James Bond character, I think. Oh, now a big reveal is he says they try to make a deal, and he says, well then, spare your wife, and he's like, oh, she didn't release my harness.
Which she did though.
She
That
did, but
confuses me.
I was confused that he even like gave that up, honestly, like said that to him.
Yeah,
Right?
I don't know. I think because he's suicidal to the point where he wants to take everyone literally existence out with him.
Well, he makes it very clear.
Oh,
If he can't
here's the
have it,
reveal.
no
Young
one
Seder.
can have it.
Hold on, there's a brief flashback here for people that are listening in, of young Seder in Stulsk where the actual radiation was going off. He's in a radiation suit. Yeah, this is what we were talking about earlier with the Russian black sites. Who knows how many Chernobyls happened? Oh, it seems one of the containers came out containing presumably plutonium or something, and it blasts him when he opens it. For some reason, who knows why he'd open it? But he sees like plans in there. Looks like gold. I'm trying to remember.
In that, no, I thought that was just the plutonium.
No,
I don't think it was
was
gold, was
plutonium.
it?
There was something in there, something valuable. He's talking about like his life, and now he can build a new life. He kills the other person and notices what's in there. The young Seder, kills another guy,
Right.
rando. And those also the hints of like the secret black sites again, as well. The movie is very heavily reliant on that stuff. There's very cold remnants of the Cold War-esque that modern spy thrillers like to lean on. This one leans on it heavily, but sprinkles in the time plot.
Right.
A little bit confusing time plot. But it is what it is.
Some yacht in the Mediterranean.
Yeah, it's still in the yacht in the Mediterranean.
And now he is going to talk to Kat. Seder is going to talk to Kat
That's where she
about
first
what
stashes
happened.
the gun, too. The gun that comes back later, she stashes the gun there.
Well, that's the gun that he gave her.
It is.
That the protagonist gave her.
Yes.
Because she
He's about to open it.
is
And
vulnerable
doesn't
again.
open it. So so people are listening in. He is talking to Sater is talking with his wife. They're you see more remnants of their highly strained relationship.
Yeah.
He throws a pillow at her angrily, where it's revealed that he oh no, yeah, he slowly takes off his belt. He's gonna wrap it around his fist.
Yeah, he's like, he's very menacing.
Horrible person.
Yeah, he
Wife
looks like
beater.
he's gonna hurt her.
Literally put all the labels on him. He's that kind of horrible person.
He's a narcissist. That's how I would describe this guy.
And he literally says a line.
Someone. Yeah.
He says, "If I can't have you, no one else can." Literally says the famous line.
That is what a narcissist is.
Not
All
the famous
about
line,
him, right? I would never let him interfere.
Here she's actually trying to protect the protagonist.
Yeah.
He's ready to beat the crap out of her. Literally belt in hand, fist balled up.
Yeah, but he also put
angrily.
his cufflinks in the belt, which
He
I never
did.
saw that before.
Yeah, I saw that. I forgot about that. He was
That
just
was a
extra
new
damage, horrible person hinted at, which you see later he does beat her, which is bad,
Just pretty
horrible.
Horrible. It's hard to watch
He
that.
shoots her too in the gut, which is, if people that don't know.
Which is really interesting, right? Because he supposedly loves her, but he obviously doesn't. It's all about power for him.
Oh yeah,
all about power and domination.
Okay, I think at a point, when you realized, I think the character, I should say, realized, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I hate everything. I hate the whole world. This world's done nothing for me. I think he realizes that's when he stops caring.
Yeah.
Stops caring about his son, because he's willing to sacrifice his own son.
Yeah.
In a sense, to get rid of the world, as well as harm his wife, who his wife resents him, and he knows that, and so he can care less at this point. He's like, oh, okay, I'm getting rid of someone who hates me.
Yeah.
But all is fair in love and war at that point too. But yeah, so the protagonist now, for reference, is sneaking through the ship, boat, and he sees the Russians were taking somebody off the helicopter. Don't know who. A little intrigue there, and the protagonist is sneaking in to see who the heck they're beating up and interrogating. Because of course the Russians can't not mix business with pleasure.
Did you reveal who that guy is? Do you know who that guy is?
I know
who
who
he
he
is.
is.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the inverted gold.
Remember?
Oh yeah. So this is my mother.
The guy.
This is the airplane guy.
Yes.
One of the operatives from there. Exactly. Reveals the gold he stole.
And he took the gold. It was a very quick little scene that
a
lot of people didn't notice, but he took it, and now he gets beaten up.
Throat punch to the face, and then
killed,
down
assuming.
he goes. Yeah. A bloody gold. Yeah, no, yeah. He used the gold to beat him up. Checks his heart rate because to show how villainous he is.
Total narcissist.
Calm as hell, narcissist. But also, the watch is revealed later to be very important to the plot.
Yes.
And of course, Volkov comes back, finds the protagonist.
He is. But you know what gets me?
What?
How does he have these stooges?
Super stooges?
Like his thugs, like they all, if they're in on it, they know the world's gonna end. Why would you want to be a part of that?
My theory is not revealed.
Yeah.
My theory, it's not revealed, but that they probably are they just get really well paid, and they're like, hey, there's a thing, there's a device, I just need you to activate it at all costs.
So you're saying they have no clue of really what it is.
That's all about secrecy movie. But
I think Volkov has gotta know, but yet he's still going to destroy the world on his behalf.
Fair, it could be true. But I think it's two things. I think it's another thing that Chris Nolan overlooked, and that it's a very stereotypical spy movie thriller. You got to have the goons that are willing to go above and beyond.
Well, yeah, you always need the thugs, the loyal thugs.
Where let's see, the protagonist and Robert Pattinson's character are essentially planning the next part of the mission. They try to figure out where the plutonium is buried.
So much more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people have seen the movie, it's not actually plutonium. Dun dun dun. Also, where we get the car chase scene from the also as seen in the trailer,
which is a little confusing when you first watch it.
It's still confusing, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're talking about the convoy, and they're gonna, they're gonna intercept it somehow. Was it the fire truck and the other thing?
Interesting. Just a little, like they're in the subway talking about the secret mission in front of everybody.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense, to be honest.
Like, wouldn't you want to be a little more covert?
I know, especially with a super secret time organization like theirs. Think they would.
The whole world's at risk.
With the whole world at risk, you'd think they'd keep that under wraps out of pioneers. Yeah. Nope. Oh, they're another Freeport.
Yeah, those Freeports are really.
See how this is just an allegory for future past. See how there's a divider between the two sides? Literally, see it?
Yep.
Where's
the divider? I'm
No,
sorry.
literally that.
Oh, yes.
There's a
yes.
wall, a physical wall,
Yes.
dividing the future entrance from the past entrance. Sorry,
Right.
the normal from the inverted entrance, because it's not future past. It's not that simple. Here she's going in the entrance. And this is where we find out
Yes.
that Seder really is a huge dick, and he's going to beat up his wife. It's horrible.
Narcissist at his core.
The thing is...
And, he comes off, he loves her, that he is willing to...
I love you, I hate you, I love you, I hate you.
To hurt her. It's and only like someone who really just loves themselves behaves this way, I feel.
Mm-hmm. Convoys due in downtown 10. Volkov says in Russian. Seder has a vested interest in the convoy as well, because there's a certain bit of quote-unquote plutonium in there as well.
This is like when he turns.
Me, I understand. To be fair, the actor is struggling with the Russian accent a little bit there.
Yeah. I didn't have as much a problem with Kenneth Branagh as other people, I think, in the universe did, but he did his best.
Mm-hmm.
This really more toward the end, I thought it was a little worse.
Yeah, because he gets all megalomaniacal. And
yeah, his little speech
I'm an
at
evil
the end
genius.
was a little, I thought it was ridiculous.
Right before his head henchman Volkov is about to pull the trigger on the bomb, the time bomb.
Yeah.
Push me off the boat, I'm going to shoot me. That's another thing. You push me off the boat. I totally unhooked myself.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But I don't really know what the point was for the protagonist to tell him that. But actually, this is an important scene. Kat gets the courage to pull a gun on him.
But she hasn't pulled the trigger yet.
But she can't do it. But he
beats the crap out of her.
He takes advantage. Takes advantage of that because she's very vulnerable.
He does the Russian spit. Enough! Puh! Little Russian. He's like tempted to step on her face. Oh god. Cartoonish villain, I guess. Although the little Wham soundtrack is pretty good here. Gotta point that out. Hans Zimmer.
The Hans Zimmer soundtrack is fantastic.
That one fight scene where the protagonist fights himself by accident. That's not the best score, but this one's good. A little whir downward.
Or even like when the airplane is crashing in the Freeport. Dun dun.
Yeah.
Right? It's like very...
Unfortunately,
it's perfect.
It's good, but he has his good points. That's the thing. Like that was a good point of it. But unfortunately, like there's points where his theme is a little bit lacking than normal, more than usual, which is kind of rough. Because I hope he didn't phone it in for this movie. Because like this movie, there's some points that are just really lazy, and some points that are really good.
I don't know.
I do like this movie,
but some of I don't know if I'd be so super critical about the soundtrack because I think overall it's very good. And maybe on those quieter scenes, it's what was necessary. That's what he felt
right
was
here
necessary.
it's fine. This is a build-up.
Yeah, it's a build-up.
Build-up percussion, whatever the word is.
Who are those guys?
Unnamed operatives.
I don't know why I'm so confused. But
no, there's no confusion. So
I think I must have like zoned out on some of these scenes.
No, it's okay. So people don't know. Long story short, is they're trying to intercept this convoy.
Right.
It has the quote-unquote plutonium.
Right.
They were playing this for a certain amount of time, you don't know. They got other operatives, presumably from, you're just supposed to go with it.
Yeah.
Other operatives from either Tenet or from another organization that's related tangentially to it.
Let me just clarify this. Volkov, is the one with the convoy?
Is he?
I don't know.
We'll see shortly.
Now, what's his face?
The protagonist.
Goodness. The protagonist, how could I forget,
mm-hmm.
is on the fire truck.
Which is going to ram it on the right side.
So, yeah. I want to know who's on the convoy. Is it Volkov? Volkov. I said it wrong again.
You did. It's all Russian, right?
No, it's not that. I thought I said it correctly.
Nah, it's fine.
I like to pronounce names.
I glazed over a little bit, too. I'm pretty sure, that's not Volkov. Neither of them are Volkov, no. I'm pretty sure these guys are just random. They think it's plutonium too. They're just random, security detail transporting it.
They're really not significant anyway.
They're not exactly.
I just really want to know who's running the convoy. This is Seder's convoy, correct?
No, because Seder wanted it too.
Oh, this is the Ukrainians.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, how did I not know this? Because remember they said the Ukrainian Secret Service or whatever
Yes, but here's the thing.
had it. Now I understand.
This is
Oh my
where
God, how could I not know that?
this is where it's revealed that Sator has some future knowledge,
Right, right.
because he essentially let the good guys get plutonium, quote unquote, for him
Yeah.
by raiding the Ukrainian van and stealing their crap.
You know what? Now this makes so much more sense. I forgot about that they were going to transport, because Priya even said this.
There's a transport.
They were going to transport from Talon,
Oh,
remember?
Estonian was speaking.
Yeah, they were going to transport the plutonium from Talon because they never got the plutonium. The Ukrainian service had it.
Yes.
Got it. And now they and Sator are both trying to get it,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But because Sator,
now we understand.
Yes, but because Sator has some future knowledge, he's
Yes.
just gonna let him take it,
Yes.
and then he's gonna get it later because he knows.
Yes. I know, that was
Because
bad.
he's going back. He's also not seen in the movie as much, but he's alluded to be going forward, backward.
Yes, it is.
Giving himself info, doing his own little pincers.
Can I just tell you, that was very confusing, but that's exactly what happened. He, unbeknownst to us at the time when you're watching this, has already gone back and forth, and then they reveal that later, I guess.
Yes.
Where, of course, they don't. They've only gone back.
Yeah, so here, is where the protagonist and his crew are kind of played for fools.
Yeah.
Because they don't know they're part of the grander scheme. None of them do, except for maybe Robert Pattinson's character. But they're all thinking they're doing the right thing. I mean, technically they are, because future protagonist knows the whole plot line, which is, part of the reference with the whole name of the protagonist. Because everything's set, as Robert Pattinson says. It's all whatever has happened.
What's happened happens.
This is all, I guess, predestined in a way.
I know, but then there's no. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing.
It's so
we as
confusing
an audience,
when they say that.
We as an audience don't know it's predestined.
Yes.
Until later, so the stakes aren't reduced yet. Watching it the second time around, none of this really matters in terms of plot weight. Like physical weight,
right?
Because we all know, okay, it's all predestined, and it's destined that the good guys will get it in the end. We'll stop the plot in the end.
Yeah, but
because the explosion already happened 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago in the story.
But you get the feeling that you're alluding. It alludes that they are going to change.
It alludes that they can change history.
Yeah. Yes.
Not necessarily. Better yet, let me rephrase. That they can do something about it.
Now look. See, they talk about the encapsulation of the plutonium and that he does not recognize it.
Yeah, it's the third time he's seen something like that, he says.
But now look ahead. So they're listening and they can't understand the language.
It's not Estonian. It's backwards, because it turns out it's Sator who's moving backwards.
Yeah, and now
it's two people moving backwards.
The protagonist and Neil are like, oh my God, what's happening? And the car is backing up.
This is when Sator, who has future knowledge, is moving backwards. And also, they didn't notice that the window was cracked.
Yes, I noticed that.
I noticed it too. And it uncracked because that damage was in reverse. There's little things like that you'll see. Also the protagonist.
Nice BMW.
There's one thing that doesn't make much sense, as there's some things like, there's a cut in the arm that appears. Oh, it turns out that was a bullet. That was a reverse bullet wound. Wait, what? But then how's the body react to that? So there's little things here that is kind of confusing.
And this is what I'm saying. This is a complex script.
Yeah.
This is a script that obviously I think he took 5 years to write this script, which you can understand because it's very confusing.
And they had to simplify things like that. They probably when they bought the car, did they see? Oh, there's a cracked hood.
Yeah.
A cracked
and now
window.
Look. Just interrupt, but here's Kat being held hostage by
Sator.
And of course, protagonist and Neil are upset. And Neil just says, it's worse than that. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, because
it's
Neil
not the
knows
plutonium.
Yeah,
he's like, it's worse than that.
Yeah.
Emphasizing.
And
now here's another car rolling.
But the windows are so tinted.
Yeah, you can't
no one can see it inside.
Who it is. A little
You're
foreshadowing. It's called foreshadowing. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love those literary terms.
If you saw that just there, he pulled out the device outside the package, threw the package, and then in a vain bit of hope, you don't see him throw it.
He threw the suitcase.
threw the suitcase to Sator,
Right.
but threw the physical plutonium in the gray car that was moving backwards.
Oh, yes.
To be honest, though, I don't know why he'd do that. He doesn't know who's driving that car.
I know, that was a little confusing.
Because it's revealed later that he threw it in the backwards car. But yeah. Little things here and there that are kind
Poor
of
Cat.
questionable.
Now here she's stuck
Yeah,
again.
I thought she was a tall actress. What's going on, Mom?
She's very tall. She is extremely tall. There's no way I could have ever did that with my foot.
Oh, and by the way, the car's inverted. Cat's not, but the car's inverted.
She unlocks the car with her very long legs and high heels.
Exactly, but she can't
I
get
could
the
never
gas
have done that.
with the super long legs. But what's interesting though is the car is moving in reverse because the car is not moving in reverse. It's driving forward, but because the car is inverted.
Oh, it's so confusing. I know.
Exactly.
You gotta really. But that's what I'm saying. They had to take time for those details.
Ugh.
And now I don't know how he did this with his fingertips.
I don't know why he would. Just get your foot in there.
I guess he had to hurry up, and he breaks the car, but
just in time for the next gunfight.
with his fingertips, I can't even imagine a car would stop like that. My fingertips would be broken.
Your fingertips
Actually, I
are broken?
couldn't survive any of this. One of the truth.
Yeah.
I couldn't survive the beatings. I couldn't survive the gunshot.
You saying a normal middle-aged mom can't handle that? I
don't know. I'm pretty strong. I just survived. I was like up and around after major surgery, so maybe maybe I can do it.
And then all of a sudden he's stunned by one car crash. It's like,
no,
don't grab me, oh no.
Volkov is back again.
Freaking
He's horrible.
Volkov
and they
again.
just grabbed.
He is the henchman of
protagonist.
the year. He is the henchman of the year award, this guy.
Yeah, I like
He's willing to destroy the world for his boss.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What's in it for him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. My theory, because it's not explained. It's another. It's a thing that's glossed over in the grand.
Well, I guess Christopher Nolan had to make a decision. How much, otherwise this movie would be 4 hours long.
Well, you said this worked for 5 years. He's probably had to cut a crap ton out.
But that's what I'm saying. It's a 2.5 hour movie.
Oh,
how long can he make it?
I know.
So he had to he couldn't give Volkov's.
So here's some of the future knowledge revealed.
Volkov's intentions. Do you know what I mean?
We were talking about the machine earlier. See, this is reversed with her pushing him. Him pushing her out. They're moving weird, inverted. He put a mask on her because he sees a hole in the glass.
Cat.
Peter's learning in reverse as he, this a moment ago. He's and the protagonist is realizing that bullet hole probably just happened.
Right.
It's about to happen in reverse. They just grabbed Cat, threw her in there, and reversed it. She's already shot. She's realizing. And what that really means is Peter was shooting her.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Well,
I thought it was just a bullet that was already there, and he just took advantage of it.
Because you're saying Sator is listening to a recording of what just happened that he's about to get from here.
It's going to help a lot of people to understand this.
He essentially recorded himself now. He already told him, because he doesn't know yet. That's current Sator. Sator was just told the Tenet squad coming in to save the day. Sator does the whole thing a moment ago. And here it's revealed he's listening. He's the gunfight in reverse. Here's the recording he just made. Now has future knowledge.
Yep.
And I guess not really past knowledge. It's future him dealing with past thing with future knowledge. It's a little confusing, but basically he knows what he's about to say. He knows the answer. So he's like, okay, now I know what I have to do. I have to shoot my wife right now. This is going to be reversed from his perspective.
Oh, so now
opens and shooting her.
So is that reverse or forward?
It's forward for him now.
Oh, okay.
But from the perspective of mainline time,
it looks backwards.
It looks backwards. Which is why I shot her first.
Got it.
Because now he played all in reverse. It's confusing, but this is meant to explain. This is meant to explain what the heck just happened.
Right.
Basically. So.
You need it, but I still had a hard time understanding it. I feel kind of dumb sometimes.
Yeah, and because he shot the glass, now air is leaving, and so he has to put a mask on her, otherwise they'll suffocate.
I understand the oxygen and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Explain that too. This is when you're introduced to Ives.
Yes, the other named character.
Posterity, and that word's going to come up again. It's hard for them to understand.
Everybody
knows but him what's going on, kind of.
Mm-hmm. He's being played for a fool.
Yeah.
Quite realize that Sator has been going back and forward in time.
Yep.
This is the first time we hear temporal pincer.
Yeah.
Time.
Start thinking differently.
They say that. Posterity, think different time.
Everybody's so linear.
Also, when he realizes it's not really plutonium, finally.
He said he lied,
Because he
which I thought was good.
Oh yeah, and there's this thing to do with like when you hit with an inverted bullet, there's inverse radiation, which messes with you.
But it also sounds like it explodes
So
in you,
yeah, because
which
it's
is what's
coming in
concerning.
reverse, it deals more damage to a forward in time moving body than a reverse moving in time moving body. It's another thing that they have trouble explaining. Basically, think about a bullet that's already ballooned,
Right.
that's moving backwards, that starts somewhere else, re-enters you backwards, and then comes out the other side. While you're moving forward in time, it's moving backwards.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, because you're not in the same timeline. There's things that happen in reverse, everything's in the same timeline.
Yep.
There's things that happen where one thing is reversed, one thing is forward. That's the confusing part of those movies, when one thing is reversed and one thing is not.
I agree. Which still confuses me.
It's still confusing.
I'm going to try to understand.
So the thing with the bullets is they talk about radiation too, so maybe there's some kind of radiation aspect where because some particles are moving backwards, it messes with the body. That's my theory. So they kind of again gloss over it.
So now they're trying to go through.
So they're reversing in time.
Yes.
So now everybody, for people
again
listening, they just walk through the time machine. It's the protagonist's first time through it. He's trying to save Kat because if they reverse her, the radiation that's messing with her body on top of the bullet wound is also going to reverse.
Yep.
Theoretically, I think. He's also confronting Robert Pattinson again about, Sator, how he's like, kill her different times. It doesn't make sense to him.
Things like are unknowable. So it's still uncertainty.
There's still uncertainty. But then he says the line, what's happened, happened. Which begins to introduce the concept of fatalism, determinism, things that, there's a set timeline that's beginning to reveal.
I'm excited to tell you something that's coming up very soon.
Okay, well, I'm going to go on the time thing for a moment. So it's revealed here for everybody.
My favorite part's coming up.
Revealed here that time and objects move backwards.
Hold that thought.
Go ahead.
You know who this girl, Wheeler,
is? That's the actress?
Who that actress is?
No.
Her name is Fiona
Dourif. Who's that?
Brad Dourif's daughter. Played Grima Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings.
Oh my gosh.
And many other, countless
Wormtongue's
movies.
daughter.
Look at her face, she looks just like him.
I guess a little bit.
I love when she does the side thing, her eye is, you can just see, look at her, when you see her eye.
I can kind of see it. Yeah,
you'll see it again when she turns.
Yeah, that's
but that's
Grima Wormtongue's daughter.
Well, he's been in so many movies.
Oh, sure. I'm sure. I haven't really seen him in much, but I know in the past.
You can look at her there. But she's actually quite a good actress. She's young, she's... I was like, oh, God, she looks so familiar. But you can see her, she looks just like her dad, I feel.
Yeah.
The female version or the girl version. Oh, I shouldn't even...
he does the cowboy... he does the cowboy
looks like
shit.
Her dad, yeah.
He does the cowboy shit. Yeah. Inevitably...
But he didn't put the suit on.
He didn't put the suit on.
What? I don't have time for that. Put the suit on!
He's moving backwards.
You need to protect yourself.
Yeah. It doesn't matter as much because either way, he's playing in Sator's hands.
I know, but as a mom, I want safety first.
Yeah. And he feels her air is moving backwards, even though it's moving forwards.
And I like him. This is cool. I feel the whole backwards thing. It's so confusing, but cool.
You know they did for this.
Played it backwards.
Yeah, basically they had him walk backwards, and they played the footage backwards.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like he's walking forward while everything else is going backwards. Awkwardly. Really, it's just, that's why you see how he's like running backwards. Like,
oh my God, I never even thought of that.
Because it's literally him.
Because I was wondering how they did this.
It's literally him, walking backwards.
Right.
They reversed it. That's him getting out of the car and walking backward to the entrance. That's cool because this is easy for camera trickery because they can just reverse the footage. Cool. They just have to make sure the actors do everything, right. So I'm sure, all the they have continuity people.
Yes.
They hire continuity people for movies now.
I'm sure they had to because this is, like I told you, this is
so many movies.
Very complex. If you've got people going forward in time, backwards in time, all this stuff going on, you need someone to keep track of it all.
Yeah, Chris Nolan's obviously on it because he made the script, but so many people. Here's Sator, by the way, is checking the BMW.
Yes.
That the protagonist labeled has the thing. It doesn't have the thing. He's like, all right, God damn it, he lied to me. He finds the case, puts the tracker in it.
Why am I confused by this?
Okay, so
he has
Sator tossed the case.
Yes.
Because Sator got something in it. He's moving backwards in time. He knows Sator's inverted now. You saw Sator with the mask. Sator's going to pick that case up in a moment. He's going to be able to track it.
Yes. Okay. Yes. But then
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm, or the plutonium algorithm,
Plutonic algorithm.
is there
Essentially,
in his
yes.
car.
It's in that car. It's going to be in his car.
Yes.
In this car that he stole. So, interesting is...
Look how awkward it's driving
Yes,
from.
because everything's in reverse. To everyone else, he's driving backwards, kind of.
Yeah.
Horns in reverse, too. The horn... He doesn't realize he hit a car until it happens. Perception's warped.
Yeah.
The thing with Sater is he guessed that Sater would toss the case. Oh, now, okay, so remember they heard the backwards radio? Now he hears it
He can
in
hear
forwards. This is what he guesses. He's guessing it. So he's picking it up. Here's he shows he's picking up the reverse time crap.
Definitely.
He hasn't picked it up fast enough.
Yes.
Now see he's going to play him for
Saders definitely has that advantage.
Yes, Sater's used to this already.
So here they
Sees
throw
him
the case.
after he catches
Yes.
it. Realizes what the hell. God dang it.
But now look, the plutonium, it flew out of the car.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. So presumably that means Sater is going to go forward in time, find that car, grab it from the car. The car goes back to the parking lot.
I guess so, right?
Because that's where it's going to be.
Okay.
He didn't realize it was in the back seat.
So the car that flipped was him all along.
Yeah.
Remember you
It
saw
was
that
revealed,
scene earlier.
He's
and it's
suffocating.
revealed to be the protagonist.
I saw the handoff. You made me shoot her for nothing, he says. That's the whole thing. He's a fitness nut job with the heart rate, but the heart rate comes important later. I forgot I was going to say something.
And now he tries to blow up the protagonist.
Yeah, but because of the way thermodynamics are reversed in time, for some reason, he ended up getting super frozen. Revealed he gets hypothermia or some crap.
Well, everything's reversed. So if something is in flames, then it's cold. And
it's more thermodynamics.
I like how he wakes up like startled.
Freezing, yeah.
He had hypothermia.
Yeah. Case of hypothermia from a gasoline explosion.
Yeah. He has no scars on him. He's
unharmed.
He said, how much detail could they possibly go through, you know?
Yeah. So I remember what I was going to say. So there's the thing with continuity people on films. Where, no one notices them when everything goes right.
Yes.
When things go wrong, that's when you're like, who the hell messed up?
Right.
If you remember the second to last episode of Game of Thrones,
that was
the coffee
disaster.
cup.
Yes.
The freaking coffee cup in the scene. For people that have never seen Game of Thrones, don't watch it past season 6. The last couple seasons didn't happen. For those that have watched it.
Don't you think this is important to talk about this scene?
Those that have watched it, I'm so sorry. You remember the coffee cup. Anyway, back to the movie about Kat and the situation, because they established Priya is going to want to kill Kat because Kat is compromised. Essentially, can give away too much of the situation.
Right.
To
she
other
knows
people.
too much.
She knows too much, which is where this is where Priya comes into play later, and leads to her downfall.
All the ships moving backwards.
To be fair, that he saved her life. For spoiler, the mom of Neil's character.
We don't know that. You said that before, but we don't know that.
Totally. My friend's theory in real life.
This is interesting. All of a sudden, his arm starts to hurt.
Yeah, because he's moving backwards.
I didn't pick this up the first time,
forward.
And now it's all going to make a lot of sense.
It does, kind of. Here's the thing. If you don't think about it too hard, it makes sense. That's the point, because everything's glossed over. Point A, bullet moves in reverse. He gets wounded now because he gets shot backwards later. But then they already established, this is when you think too hard, it doesn't make sense. They already established a bullet moving in reverse fudges you up, messes you up so badly because literally Kat's dying right next to him.
Poor thing.
Yet he's fine.
Yeah, she had no. Where's the surgeon?
Yeah, where's the surgeon?
Where's her hospital treatment?
I think they're hoping.
Where's her medical treatment?
I think that because she's reversed, they're hoping the bullet will heal itself.
I guess.
Which is actually that's nothing. That doesn't make sense either.
I know, because she still needs. Listen, she needs a course of antibiotics. She needs her wound cleansed.
Yeah, exactly.
She needs surgical intervention
earlier, she's a nurse,
repair the arteries and bone and whatever.
And then on top of that, you did see some EMTs looking over her.
Yes.
They skimmed up the whole thing.
Well, maybe they did something. That's true. They could have done some rudimentary healing.
Is frickin' Chris Nolan.
But then look at Neil giving narcotic injections.
Narcotic injections.
Or sedatives. Sedatives. Sorry.
Yeah, knocking her the heck out.
Sedative.
Yeah. Another thing, another time jump. Again, this movie, another time jump. So they went back in time so far.
Oh my God, so far.
To the point where, presumably weeks, to the point where they're going to go back to the Freeport operation.
Where their ancestors. You hear that? You see that? Where their ancestors.
The ancestors to the Tenet organization while also working for the Tenet organization that they are ancestors to.
Yeah.
Which is in which he simplifies to the very real theoretical grandfather paradox. Grandfather, before you're born, are you gonna kill yourself?
Right. Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
simplifying it even worse than he is. The issue with this movie is it's already a set timeline. It's a hard set
Yeah.
timeline. Now, as you're watching the movie, you don't know that. You think it's like a wishy-washy Terminator style semi-set,
It's
river.
very confusing.
So the best way to simplify it is time in movies, timelines like this. They can either be super hard-coded, everything's a closed loop, like Looper, for example, or this movie, which is revealed to be. Which that's the thing in the movie. You don't know if time's set or not.
Yeah.
Events happen, but people can go backward and add to those events as opposed to change them. They can only add to them. Keep that in mind, Mom. They can only add, which means things are still set.
You know what's good about a movie like this? This is the type of movie,
thinking.
like I said, it makes you think. You need to watch it again.
100%.
And again, to really get the full grasp of it, if you like this sort of thing, of course.
So for the audience, what I said, this movie turns out to be a hard set timeline. But in the beginning, when you first watch it, you start to think, is it a river plot where main things happen along the river? You can't change that. Like
I never thought of that.
Like X-Men: Days of Future Past.
Yes,
That's
I like
a movie
that movie
where
too.
time is a river that you could put ripples in and change certain
I
things.
didn't know anything about that. I didn't know there was a theoretical term for that.
That's how I simplify it too. A lot of people simplify that. So there's that, which you think this movie is, turns out it's hard-coded. You can't change a thing, closed loop. Then there's a third kind of time travel, time plot movie where everything's free-form, butterfly effect go crazy, step on a butterfly during the dinosaur times, and the world becomes a weird fascist dictatorship a million years later. That's a Ray Bradbury story, The Sound of Thunder, I think. It is Sound of Thunder. That's a great Ray Bradbury story.
Well, it's good to, like I said, try to understand.
And I love how no one notices.
And there's different ways to go about these time
for
theories.
reference in the movie, if you can't hear it on our thing,
this is an important part.
They are moving backwards in time with the injured cat to bring her. They had her chill in inversion for 2 weeks, weeks. Where he gets sucked in, by the way. They're back at the Freeport. The character is blown to himself by accident because he didn't realize it was him.
Now you're going to understand.
Now he realizes.
Now you're going to understand.
Now he realizes why the fight was so weird.
Let me talk.
All right.
Now you're going to understand the first fight.
Yes.
You're going to see the whole thing.
Awkward fist fight.
It's an awkward fight because there's
the strange magnetism of the fight.
Yes.
But because here's the thing: one's moving on instinct in reverse, and one's moving instinct in forward.
Yep.
So now you see the whole fight from the other perspective of who he thinks he's moving forward in time.
Right.
I simplified to Mom the other day, and we were watching this movie. Basically, the protagonist that's coming in from the future is experiencing his whole fight, where past him was at his most aggressive.
Right.
Literally, you're really about to kill him, kind of like aggression, like I'm murdering
he's ready to kill him, and he's got to thwart himself.
And so he has to protect himself from that. Yeah. But because he is protecting himself over time,
I like the music too, by the way.
Past protagonist,
right,
basically is ramping down his aggression.
Right. Right.
As future protagonist is ramping up the protection, self-defense.
And that's when he gets stabbed.
That's when he gets stabbed in the arm, which is reverse stab.
Bullets are reverse. Oh no, bullets are forward.
Because the bullets, forward from his perspective.
Now look at this part. He's going to do something important now.
He does the gun removal.
And now he
sees himself realizes he has to jump through, because that's what he's told. Like whenever you see someone hop through, you have to hop through.
Exactly.
Because that's yourself. If you don't do that, then you break in the timeline, bad things happen. But because it's already faded,
hot on his trail.
Neil grabs him, removes the mask. It's revealed Neil had future knowledge now.
Yep.
Lets it be. The protagonist at this point thinks this is why there was two people. He doesn't realize that's what the machine was for. And he yells, "Go!" It's played backwards.
Oh, then it's backwards.
Because he's still inverted. He's still inverted.
Oh.
Basically,
I'm so confused by that part.
Yes, because in real time,
the whole thing over again.
I'm gonna say real time for our time, real time. Real time, he hops out because he went through the machine. Hops out and says "go," and Robert Pattinson's character is still inverted. Still, you waited there inverted.
Right.
For the protagonist to give me. Go ahead.
He's got to wait.
because they want the whole
Yeah,
point.
that part is a tad
Yeah.
confusing, but I understand what they have to do. They have to
Yeah.
get her inverted.
The whole point is to rescue Kat.
Cat, yep.
Now she's healed in reverse time.
Yep.
I guess that's the whole point.
Well, at least somewhat.
At least somewhat. Radiation was backwards. They had to fix it. They had to wait for her body to get out the reverse radiation or some shit. The language. This whole scene replays. No one somehow notices the gurney going back.
No,
and
I
forth.
know. I said that. I wonder if in the beginning we would see that.
I
Probably not.
don't think so. So they wanted to hide it.
Because they went, yeah.
And here's my thing. It's either all hearts at timeline or the timeline's added to like layers like
Right.
an onion, like an ogre. Shrek reference. But picking up the gold reminds you about the guy who got his ass beat because he stole the gold from Seder. He confronts Neil again, saying, "How you knew it was me?"
Yeah.
And what's happened. Fatalism at its finest. Best way to simplify a time plot like this.
He is to suppress.
Follows the hours. Ay.
He's finally getting it. Like the protagonist is like, oh yeah.
Oh,
that's
you're
right.
my bro. You're my side.
All right, we're bros.
Somehow that was just the right amount of time to cure her.
Yeah.
That's another awkward thing I just realized. We're talking more about the algorithm.
Yeah.
Reveal, Seder has almost all the pieces to it. He's gonna activate it because he's insane. Talk about again. He wants to talk to Priya. Now Priya is revealed to have met him
I'm
before all
digging Priya's
this.
outfits.
To be fair though, the outfits in this movie are very on point.
Love Priya's style. Look at that scarf and the white suit. Love it. I love that in the beginning she has more traditional Indian dress on, and which I believe are called saris, which I think are gorgeous. And now she has a whole different look. Very kind of corporate.
Working professional, I was going to say.
Yes, very professional. White suit with the beautiful,
a slight elegant, with a slight flair.
I really liked Priya's character. I'm sorry.
Well, we said
about
she was
the end for her.
She was too ruthless.
Yeah, she was.
Revealed to be.
You have to be if you're an arms dealer,
Yeah,
right?
if you're an arms dealer on the side as well as I don't know how that works. She's an arms dealer and she's working with Tenet.
I wonder how that all came
I guess
about.
that's probably also why you murdered her. Because she's a compromise, literally, by being an arms dealer.
We should get back, because now they're still talking about the algorithm.
Yeah, because she's revealing to him that the algorithm is literally, made by a mathematician
What it
in the
is.
future, something that apparently can destroy the existence. I don't know how a mathematician can make that, but that's beside the point.
That's true. We're talking about her wardrobe, and we missed a whole big part of the movie. Because Oppenheimer, she compares this to Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project.
Yes, she compares the mathematician's discovery of this supposed algorithm, which I wouldn't call something that could literally destroy the universe, just an algorithm. Call it like in DC Comics, where Superman is, they call that the anti-life equation.
Ooh.
It's a dumb thing in the comics, but it's a cool name. Anyway.
But it is important that she does...
guy to the protagonist.
Right.
But
yes, it's definitely an info dump. But she also says that the person who discovered the algorithm
separated,
killed herself.
Yeah, she did too much. It was too much.
Didn't want the responsibility, or couldn't handle that someone could get it again from her. I'm assuming.
Well, it's actually because
they do say that.
I do appreciate they did compare him, the mathematician, to Oppenheimer. Yeah. So you ever see interviews of Oppenheimer after the bomb was created? He looks haunted.
Oh, that's
he looks like he has not only seen a ghost, like he's actively seeing ghosts. There's an infamous interview where he is trembling.
Tenet is founded in the future. Now all the ships are going backwards.
Remember, this was alluded to a couple minutes ago with
it was.
Robert Pattinson's character saying it was working out again.
But I like how Priya says it.
Tenet was made in the
very
future.
Profound and very
dramatic.
I like that. This is important.
Anyone that doesn't know, I recommend the Oppenheimer interview where he says, "I am become death," which is ironic because it's coming from an Indian woman, because he's actually quoting, I think it's Hindu scripture, which, again, great thing to put in a movie like this.
Well, maybe that was
That's why
done intentionally. I mean, it's a well thought out script, so why not have references like that?
Again, people Google that interview. It is horrifyingly interesting. People that are watching on their own, or to people that are listening, the protagonist just revealed what Priya had told him, that as soon as, or not prequel, they figured out that as soon as Sator dies, the algorithm will activate and existence will end.
But Kat just
And
reveals
he has pancreatic
that
cancer.
Sator has inoperable pancreatic
Yes.
cancer, and says basically he's
He
going
wants
with
to
the
go out
world
with a
and he's
bang.
taking it with him. If he can't have the
No
world,
one can.
no
Just
one
like how
can
he said
have
to
the
his
world.
wife, no, if I can't have you, no one
Yep.
can.
That is what a narcissist is, which is what I stated earlier many times. His son.
Here we go.
He's willing to
She
kill his
reveals
son.
that he disappears one day.
Yes.
And that's when they realize that must be the time and place where either he decides to end the world or something happens.
Well, because it's a moment that he's trying to relive from their past, a happy time. And
He wants to live the happy.
she's going to take, she's going to
He's
take
revealed that was future
yes.
Sator going backwards in time. He's super jaded at that point. He just wants to enjoy what he can because he still does love his wife. Somehow, after all the beatings and the horribleness.
Well, he's a narcissist, like I said.
He is a narcissist, that's true.
You got to look at that definition.
Exactly.
Remember, she said in the beginning, he vanished,
Yes.
and I saw a woman diving off the boat.
Yes.
It's her,
Yes.
actually. Oops, sorry, spoiler.
Yeah, another reveal. Again, we open
Sorry about
with
that.
this is a spoiler-filled review. It's okay. Another thing to point out, he sees Elizabeth Tenet here. The actual organization, they are fighting each other. Some are inverted, some are not.
They're
Bullets are
training.
inverted, guns are inverted. It's interesting how you could train like that, but hey, people are doing it. So basically, nothing was revealed when they were talking about the boat thing. All the dates lined up with Stalsk 12. The explosion that happened a couple weeks back in Stalsk 12 revealed that happened the same time as the gosh darn date on the boat in Vietnam. And so here it's revealed this huge facility on this mobile boat. And with Tenet, where everyone's being inverted, uninverted, normalized, whatever you want to call it, back and forward in time. People are in oxygen suits, some people are not. It's kind of cool, but the logistics seem mind-boggling, to be fair.
Oh my god, very complicated.
I can't imagine, like, in character, the logistics, but talking about
this is a little emotional part where...
So she reveals from that past her. She had a good time with her husband. It was ruined. This is when she started.
She asked him about getting her son back. Now, I think you misunderstood something earlier. You said something he was trying to do was relive a moment of their past. It wasn't the past moment. That past moment was longer, a previous time, and they were trying to relive rekindle, and have that moment. And the reason he wanted to relive that happy moment was because that was going to be
my point is...
It wasn't that moment he was trying to relive. It was a previous moment.
I misspoke. I know what you mean. Because
but I wanted just to clarify.
To be honest, I might have confused the two also.
Yes.
It's all a little bit glossed over.
But one of the more important things is that because things were rough with them, they're having, in Vietnam, they're having a happier moment. And she took advantage to say, listen, if there was still love there or something there, he will get give me my son back.
He at this point was already holding the painting above her.
Exactly. So when he said that you can have him back if you never see him again, I mean, you can have your life if you never see him again. She considered that moment, so she hates that about that moment.
Which is a horrible thing to say to your wife, but not any family member. Like a horrible thing to say to a mother. Like, oh yeah, you can live your life normal if you never see your son again.
That's crazy.
So two things are, one is ramping up right now. The final battle is ramping up. Everyone's preparing in their time boxes. They're doing a debrief. Reveals a giant temporal pincer where some of them are coming from the future, some of them are fighting from the current present time. Red team, blue team, red versus blues. So this is where things do get confusing because in the movie, when the final battle does happen, literally...
Honestly, the battle is so confusing to me.
Yes, there's so many things that are happening forward and back in the final battle.
But I've said it very clearly, too. See, like, we're not doing... He said how did he explain it? It's no first wave or second wave. We're all going at once. Forwards, backwards,
you name it.
in the middle, whatever.
Their whole thing is they need to make it look like they failed. The whole point is their distraction. someone gets in there and diffuses the actual algorithm.
Correct.
Says
Clever,
too.
clever.
Explosion, by the way, being that reported explosion, by the way.
There's Wheeler.
There's the current
Fiona.
There's the Wheeler again, and there's Robert Pattinson's character gearing up to be one of the one of the people going backwards. She's wearing blue, red versus blue.
Yeah, they have different patches on them. They have it all.
And of course they
have it all, and
the
he has
bad
it.
guys antagonists. Another
Right,
on the nose.
Well, think about it. Antagonist, protagonist. That makes complete
Yes,
sense.
well, yeah. If you're gonna use the word protagonist, you might as well use antagonist. But they call them in the military. They call them insurgents. Usually is the word they use. The explosion has to occur.
To fail to defuse the
Our job
bomb.
is to fail to defuse while the splinter unit achieves the actual task on the target. Exactly it. Because if he needs Sator to think, he won.
Yes.
So he doesn't kill himself too soon. The bomb doesn't go off just yet. The whole point is to trick Sator. Literally, his whole operation,
It is.
his whole thing,
Just
is
to fool
trick
him.
Sator, which the wife ends up ruining.
I mean, I'm sure Kat's like, I can't believe I had this in me, but she does.
Oh,
Desperation
man.
makes you do different things.
She almost ruins she almost dooms existence because she couldn't wait 10 more seconds.
I know.
Like I know hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, but goddamn, you can't wait 10 more seconds.
She couldn't do it. It's alright. It all works out.
I know, it works out because they diffused it like a moment earlier, but gosh darn.
She's gonna dive in. She must be a great swimmer. I don't know if I could dive 60 feet off the cliff. I'd probably do a belly flop.
Swim anymore?
I could dog paddle. If my dive would, like I said, probably turn into a somersault belly flop.
So here,
Or I'd go feet first, which would probably hurt.
Well, it hurts less than belly flopping, but here it's revealed she boards the yacht, seeing that from the beginning. Helicopter takes off with her past self on it, which is perfect timing, with her son aboard too. His last day, I think she sees her son for a long time, aside from school.
Yeah.
Picking him up from school. And at the same moment is the operation at Stalsk 12, which is this abandoned Russian city that's been alluded to this entire movie. So we have this.
I'm definitely gonna leave a lot of the action war scene.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna go through it because this is what I'm perceiving is basically the defenders or Sator's forces have already have this place locked down because they know something's going down because they have future knowledge as well. They just don't know that the good guys actually won. Here, blue team lands, and you see, oh shit, a crap ton of them are injured. Like, no wonder they hit the casualties from the current time.
Yeah.
It's like some dude gets sucked into a building because he's moving forward, but the
that
building's
part,
moving
we'll talk about that because I thought it was Wheeler at first, but it's not. She gets out.
She lives.
And
there's the explosion.
some other person gets trapped.
Correction. Sorry, the movie's now from the perspective of the past people. The future people moving backwards. Team blue. Well, I'll just say blue team. Blue team's inverted, red team's not. Blue team's moving backwards now. They saw the final explosion. See red team extracting. They're injured too, because remember, everything's forward and back. Topsy-turvy. And it's all about perspective.
This is very confusing. It really is.
You need to know when blue people are moving forward, it's from their perspective.
Right.
When red people are moving forward, it's from their perspective. It's all about perspective. Time's moving in your perspective. Here, you see the wife, Kat. She is trying.
Back on the yacht.
Back in the yacht. She has to convince the boatman. No, I didn't leave. I was here the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a little, and then she's smart. She gets
she
the
unhooks
straps, unhooks the fencing, or not the fencing, the deck.
And she knows that's where she's gonna presumably dump Sator. Also, where she's gonna dive eventually too. I just want to say how much he snaps like a fish, they ragdoll.
Oh my god, I know.
Like a ragdoll.
It looked like it hurt, that's for sure.
He's already dead, but damn, it was bone breaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the smoke's
well,
backwards.
no, he was semi-dead.
Smoke's inverted, but they're forward. Red team's moving forward. That's the protagonist, presumably running.
Yeah, I think
running
so,
and gunning like a crazy person ahead of his whole team.
I wonder where they filmed this.
This place exists. I can't remember the exact name. I might look it up later. But this is all on location in like an actual gravelly training ground.
Where though?
Yeah.
In the States?
Yeah, I actually think freaking Oh yeah, that's the car that's moving forward, but Blue Team's seeing it backwards. Remember?
Yep.
That's the truck. That's the truck that Robert Pattinson drives later.
I know. That's Neil driving.
He goes into a forward time machine to uninvert himself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's him driving. But he doesn't realize because we don't know that yet as an audience.
Yeah. Let's not say anything else because I have questions coming
it's so
up.
confusing though. I have to say it now.
Now this is. He actually she's very convincing.
Yeah, she's pretending.
And he apologizes for what he said, which was nice.
Yeah, because again, he was revealed he's trying to relive the good, rekindle the goodness. He apologizes because all he wants is to go on a happy note, which is ironic because he's killing everybody effectively, playing a good part. Like, oh yeah, I want to rekindle this too. I want to make this work. Yeah, totally. I'm not going to kill you at any given moment. Like she's closing her eyes, she can barely handle him touching
At that part, I'm like, is he gonna grab her head? You know, when his head comes around, it looks a little.
And everything's moving forward.
Now this part, there's a big building explosion.
Yeah, so there was an inverted.
Not that part.
Rocket,
I'm sorry.
There's an inverted rocket launcher dude up there. They had to get him after the explosion happened because he's inverted. It looks like, or maybe the round was inverted. You don't know. It doesn't matter. He was running forward, but that rock was inverted because it was hit by an inverted gun. So but he's moving forward, so he got tripped up by it. Which time in this movie doesn't work. It works in strange ways like that because momentum is shifted, reversed, and all that crud. It's so hard to understand because,
it really is.
If one thing's moving forward, one thing's not, how would the physics be determined? If he was already moving forward and it's predetermined, wouldn't that rock not hop? It would have said it would get stopped by him. That's the silly thing.
It's so confusing. And they also, I don't know if you noticed, they all have watches on. They're trying hard.
Look at the synchronized.
Yeah.
Oh, and here, the guy getting stuck in the wall. I heard this online. A lot of critics are like, if things are predetermined, and that rock wall was inverted, but he gets sucked in going forward in time, wouldn't that mean that he was always in the wall? But he wasn't, clearly. So that's when they get the confusion.
Get out of there, Wheeler.
Yeah, Wheeler
gets out. And then this guy gets sucked in. What happened to him? Did anyone try to get him out?
It's just a cool scene.
They left him there to die.
That's it. That's what I mean.
I have questions.
Was he always part of the wall now? Is he because that's a weird, wacky timeline thing.
I hate when they leave people to die, but I guess someone has to.
That's one of the time critiques that people hold up as like this plot line is hanging by its thread, loose threads. Crusaders getting a phone call saying, "Oh, hey boss, in 5 minutes your pipe's gonna go off." They see us as all for
now, yeah, exactly.
Because they're the covert team.
They're the splinter.
Yeah, they're the splinter group.
This building was a little.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's so important. Why is it so important?
Because they need distraction.
Oh,
so the distraction is blow up this building, distract everybody.
Got it.
5 minutes in. Everyone synchronizes in both future and past. Not future, past. Inverted, uninverted.
Right. So this is interesting. It hits there and then goes together and then blows in the bottom.
That's because the timeline. Now we're shifted perspective. This is people inverted. The building collapsed inverted.
So confusing.
Because the camera did trickery on it.
Yes.
It was going forward in time, then it reversed.
And now these two are running in the mind. That's Neil.
In present motion.
Trying to tell them not to do it.
Watch out, they set up tripwire.
Because there's a trip. Yeah.
They get trapped. It's okay. It ends up being a non-issue at that point. But no one can join them. They're committed now, exactly. But so there's the inverted team. They shifted from red to blue, which is very confusing. I think it's the point. But what ended up happening is they blew the building as a distraction, and the past team, inverted team, knew it was going to happen. So that's how they knew also to blow it up.
See, not with a bang, but a whimper. The world's going to go out, not with a bang, but with a whimper.
The thing about that building explosion is because that building was.
We have a little vodka left.
Exactly.
And also, if it was going to be my last drink, it definitely would not be vodka.
Oh God, yeah. Well, it's Russian, Mom. You gotta have a Russian vodka.
I would prefer champagne. I think if I was going to go out, it would be really good champagne.
Oh, kiss. One moment business, my love.
Well, when I first watched it, I was concerned that maybe he was going to, that there could have been a foil in her plan. You know what I mean?
And meanwhile, Mahir is just waiting there from earlier. He's the guy from the plane heist.
Like I said before, that character on the boat, I love him. Mahir is the character.
That's the character's name,
But the actor, Himesh?
Yeah, we
Patel?
had it earlier,
That's
Mahesh.
it?
And here are the
See, you're
inverted
so good at
Volkov.
Yes. See,
Oh,
she
sorry,
needs
no,
to
sorry,
put that in.
Volkov's forward motion, but since he's blue, he's seeing it backwards.
Backwards, right.
When Volkov came in later, it looks like, dropped it off,
And then left.
Oh, no, the other way around. He came in late, landed, dropped off the thing, walked in. That's why he's in there.
He's already in there.
Volkov came in after the battle started. 4 minutes left. When Neil's essentially in 2 timelines at this point. He starts off moving backwards, uninverts himself shortly.
How did he uninvert himself? Who's that on the ground?
You'll see shortly.
I think I know who it is. Yeah.
He's dead.
Oh,
That's
no.
Dead as a doornail.
That's right. That's right.
He
realized it's Neil.
No. He
realized the same guy from opera. Yeah, from the opera. I paid a lot for that look.
What's his name?
Ives?
The guy with the beard.
Yeah, Ives.
Yeah, he got shot just now. He's on the ground, injured. Not dead.
Okay. Right.
That's why he's like limping a little bit later.
Right.
And you have a dead Neil, dead as a doornail Neil, on the ground.
But he gets. All right. Well, listen, I don't want to say anything else. Let's go.
It's a major spoiler if you want to know.
It is.
Neil
Right,
dies at the end. It happens so quickly. It's blink and you miss until it's revealed at the end.
I got a little confused, and who was who? If it was Neil or Ives.
Here's current Neil moving backwards.
Yes. All right.
He sees there's a machine.
Yes.
And that's when he realizes because half the troops, the enemy troops, mooks,
are coming through there.
Forward, backward, and he sees himself. And he's like, okay, whatever happened. I have to go through this thing now. I guess future
I didn't realize that.
Here's the megalomaniacal speech, by the way. We're talking about Ma.
Yeah. That's
Which
a little
ironic
like
because he
crazy.
gets monologuing.
Yeah.
Incredibles. You got me monologuing. But yeah, of course Volkov is like, boss, I do your thing. I destroy universe for you.
Yeah, he's like, who cares? I'll do everything for you. I'll kill myself.
I don't know. That's my theory.
I think he knows what it is.
Maybe he doesn't.
And he's a
The thing is,
stooge.
he's a stooge. He has no characterization. So doesn't matter. Here comes now normal moving forward time Neil. Because he was moving backwards,
Right.
he's now able to go forward through the thing. Tries to save his friend from being trapped in there. And more megalomaniacal speech. My greatest sin is bringing a son into a world I knew was going to end.
He was.
If you're a dad, like, come on. Like, if you're keeping, I know you hate your wife, but don't you love your son?
He killed his son, yeah.
And here's Neil again trying to save.
He doesn't hate his wife, though. He doesn't.
Love lost his wife. Trying to match up with the landing of the red team arrive when they leave. 10-minute mark.
Who shot Neil then?
Volkov does.
Oh God!
I am a god. That's it. What's Kanye West? I am a god. The protagonist's like, no.
Well, yeah, because it's serious.
Yeah. The stakes are at their peak, ma. The hill, the plot, the zenith. Just give her my love.
His voice is a little creepy.
Yeah, he's like a super creepy, evil mode. Even doing the Russian accent.
Shoot him in the head. Now who's getting up there?
So in reverse, it's Neil who's waking up, or alive. Gets in the way of the bullet.
Yep.
Neil walked over. Remember, Neil was inverted.
Okay.
He went back again.
Neil
Reverse dive.
took the bullet, basically.
Giving the protagonist's life.
Now it makes sense. He was dead. The time is moving. He got up, took the bullet, and then he's leaving. Yes, got it.
So he gets up.
Finally, I got it.
Bullet shoots him in the face.
Aww.
But because it was inverted, he heals. He's already moving backwards. But then because he opened the door's not open for the protagonist to get through.
And that's Ives? Okay.
Because Ives got knocked out with a bullet. And here Volkov is just like, die, pull the trigger, die.
So Ives shoots him. And that's Neil going back up the tunnel.
Back up. Well, running backwards.
She's. I thought her acting for her husband was really good.
Yeah. She's like, nope, I'm a sunscreen you. Hee.
It's like, turn around, you're lucky.
Time to die.
She's like, I hate you, but I'm gonna give you a
No, I can't do this anymore. Time to die.
Yeah.
Ives with the gun.
Isn't one good shot, I think,
in the head,
or somebody put.
he
Oh yeah,
falls
so he gets
down
pushed in.
to his doom down a black
Yeah.
hole. Of course, every villain in like a spy thriller like this has to go out down a hole or something, a shaft.
I often wondered in like Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
You know, the jail that was in the ground.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that
No,
a,
it's
that
not
could
real.
be?
It's fake. It's a
And now it's all revealed.
Ives is here. He's talking. Ives talking to Mahir, telling him, "Don't do it yet. We're not done. We're not ready." Here's
And where?
Okay, so this is now that's current Neil. Current
Yes,
Neil.
I understand that. But he's hooking something.
Save the
he's
friends.
trying to- Yes, I know, but how's he getting through the rock?
He's not,
Oh, he
there's
did
a
on the top.
That's what the explosion comes out of.
Yes, that's
They have
right.
they have the explosion ready, explosive.
And now the realization occurs with
Because
Seder.
that's future Seder. He knows exactly who that is.
Yep.
He gets her.
And
So she gets her. Him. Dead center in the
She
chest.
gets him in the
No
chest.
blood though.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of blood.
And
then off he goes.
And crack. Like a
Oh, that's definitely like a rubber
yeah,
body.
like a fish. It was good that they filmed it just right where you see him.
Well, they cut it.
And then flopping more.
I'd like to reverse that and try to see that.
Seconds left.
This is like a
She killed
5-hour
him too
podcast.
soon. But anyway, current Neil saving them drops he's moving forward in time. Also current Neil.
Right. So they saw that Neil threw the ropes to them, and they knew that they knew that. Yeah.
He says, "Screw it, he's gonna drive."
How does he? Yeah, he doesn't know if they're
He
hooked
doesn't,
up.
because he has to. Because 3 seconds left.
Okay.
So he says, "Screw it." He has to keep driving. There we go. Well, because he knows his boss is already alive. This is alive in the future. He knows that. Otherwise, so he presumes he grabbed the thing.
Yeah.
And he's happy he succeeded. But like he knows the future. Technically.
But when he goes off live, go into the future.
So Neil's story ends in this movie. Past Neil carries on forward and back in time. Presumably working with the protagonist for a lifelong journey, them being lifelong friends, which is what he says later. Which the theory goes, it's actually
There she
Sator's
goes,
kid.
dives in the water. Beautiful
Which she probably
swan
thought he was
dive.
cheating on her.
Yeah, that's what she thought. Oh, definitely. And he wasn't.
Yeah,
even
he's
there.
dead. That's her murdering your husband.
But well, we're gonna have to talk about this too. If Neil is the boy, and there's this whole period.
My theory is he grows up.
Yes.
Under the watchful eye of the protagonist.
Yes.
Trains him. In the future,
Yes.
they form Tenet.
Yes.
Sends Neil inverted backwards through time. Just enough they do stuff in the past, the future, whatever, uninverted, whatever. Until eventually Neil reaches the age he does in the movie when the movie begins, and that's where you pick up from there.
Yeah, but how does it explain the protagonist's age?
Protagonist is old in the future.
He go back in time
No,
too?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
It's
It doesn't matter.
confusing.
Because all you need to know is future
That
protagonist.
Neil goes back in
All you know
time.
is Neil is definitely from the future. Definitely. And the theory is that it's the kid because this has been watching over the kid.
Right.
And here Ives.
But Ives is gonna. Not betrays them.
them.
They made an
Yeah.
agreement. They said no one leaves this field. They made an agreement.
So it's the moment that the backpack that the protagonist keeps seeing is Neil's backpack.
Yes.
You see that in 2 seconds. They separate the pieces to be presumably spread throughout time, space. One could put it back together. But then the revelation is doesn't matter because Neil's already dead now.
Yeah. Oh, that makes me
Whatever's
sad
happened,
because I
well,
like
that's the
Neil.
bittersweetness.
And if Neil isn't indeed Kat's son, then it's even sadder because she did all this
That's
for
the
him.
revelation. Well, because but he lived a full life.
We don't know.
He lived a long life. But he lived long enough to become the savior.
We don't know.
He saved the universe.
We don't know if that. Yes, I know, but we don't know if that's really the case. If he's Kat's son, it's never been defined, and that's not said in Wikipedia either.
So do you hear what he says? He reveals, it's me again. And then he sees that.
Then we see
and
the
that's
backpack.
when I love this acting because
Yeah.
here he realizes, holy guacamole. Okay, you see a little bit of sadness now. And he's like, that's where he begs. He's almost begging. Can we change things differently?
Yep.
As Neil reveals his determinism It is a bittersweet moment. This is when I realized what the heck happened.
I like this
That it was
moment.
Neil that sacrificed himself in the end, and the protagonist knows it, and he has to send his friend to his death, who he just became friends with, by the way.
Yeah.
And here's a reveal.
Yeah.
Haven't you guessed? It was you.
You could see
Known
he
me for years.
gets choked up a bit.
End of a beautiful friendship.
I know.
And this is why he's super
Yeah.
sad.
You could see he's choked up.
Exactly. This is one of the few good moments in the movie. In terms of emotionality. Like, very powerful. His plot, too. Because he formed Tenet.
He's the
Yeah, and that's why he's...
the ultimate protagonist.
That's why he's ready to ball up.
What's the word I'm looking for? He's the director of the whole thing,
he's the director
really.
of the entire plot. It's revealed because he lived the whole thing from start to finish. He's good at planning.
I'm still a little confused about Neil made this big of a jump back in time.
Yeah, well, you could. Well, one thing is when you are inverted.
See, this is important. It's Priya. Sorry, Priya. I loved your fashion.
I realized the protagonist hops in the car and shoots him.
I like her.
So
sorry you have to go, Priya.
Sorry, Priya, you're too ruthless.
She's calling right now.
Posterity. Meaning, things are recorded.
Yeah.
And she just has to speak into a phone somewhere. He did say that earlier to her.
Yep. It's like it was never your job.
I realized that I was the one. This whole thing from the beginning. It was me.
Could you say, listen, don't shoot me. Let's work together. It's such as like
time
loose
in
ends.
his eyes now, remember, he's still a ruthless bastard. He still has morality, but he's still ruthless.
Oh, well.
And I think that, and you see the shaggy hair, I think that's past.
It could be. Only Christopher Nolan knows. But I do like...
Closing thoughts.
I think the acting was great. I do. I think the cast, whoever did the casting, did a great job.
That's true. You have a good
director,
choice of actors.
I mean, how could you not? I mean, you see the work that Christopher Nolan put in here, and the script is top. I really feel top notch. Yeah. I'm still a little confused about if Neil jumped back in time that much to meet him. So in other words, if the protagonist is at this point, right? He knows nothing. He's going through his life as a normal, like everyone else. And then there comes a pinnacle. There's a pinnacle moment, right? A point
he meets young
in his
Neil.
life. He meets young Neil, but yet supposedly the older Neil comes back. And then they have this whole thing and save the world.
So here he goes.
But now they have to... He says it's the end of their friendship, but the protagonist still has to live his future.
No, the end from Neil's perspective, and it's the end of the friendship with him.
Oh, okay.
So either he knows he's going to die, knows nothing left,
Oh, I guess
or he knows
that
nothing
makes
left.
sense.
So either reveals that the reason Neil is so fatalist, because he either knows his end, and that's how he copes, which is actually pretty tragic. But he knows he does what he does because he knows it's right. He knows he's saving the world.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of an honorable sacrifice. Self-sacrifice. Which I think, if that's true, his character is a whole other layer that I enjoy.
Yeah.
Or he doesn't know, but he's such an honorable dude. He lives by this creed, and knows. It's been, let's say he's 30, and it's been decades a decade or two with this dude, with his friend, a decade. One of those two things. Either way, I think it adds a decent layer. His character is left ambiguous on purpose.
Well, it is. I did love. I get what you're saying. Like that last scene was very poignant and very.
It's the emotional climax.
One of the few emotional climax, which is how it should be, right? You need to have that emotion there, and yes, you could see on his face the realization of everything.
Neil, I think, had a little bit of it because I think he saw the protagonist getting a little emotional, but he's like, it's okay. What happens, it's happened.
Right.
And then he reveals, it was you all along and all that stuff.
Right.
And then the protagonist...
Which I think gave him a real boost.
It's bittersweet because then the protagonist realizes he still has a whole friendship with Neil. And it's still sad because now he knows it's a John Connor situation. He knows he's sending his friend to his death by working with him.
It is a little bit of a
It is a little bit of Terminator vibe because, you're John Connor, you're sending your father to both birth you, but also to kill him, to his death. Which, the irony there. But that's what I was talking about. He's learned to be ruthless, in terms of what he is going to do for himself. But he learns he can be the guy that sends others to sacrifice others.
I have another thing to ask. In the car, right before Priya gets assassinated,
it's loose-ended.
He's in there. He obviously knew this was going to happen. So did he jump back in time?
So, well, you don't know. So it's either the
Yeah.
protagonist from like way older, or it's the protagonist right after the operation, and he's just like, all right, Bria, it's time.
Well, because he had the phone and he had the recording.
Exactly. So it's probably semi-future, like maybe a month or two in the
Yeah,
future.
that's what I think.
Because remember, he told her to just get the operator and say something. I'll figure it out later. Because he can go back in time whenever he wants now.
Right, that's true. The turnstiles are
Because
still active.
essentially is the turnstiles are always active, and he also is working with Tenet.
Yeah.
Either now or in the future. So if not now, he just has to wait, plan everything out, get back with Tenet, form Tenet.
You know what I hope? I hope Kat is enjoying her time on that gorgeous yacht, because now she's technically a widow.
Raising her boy.
And she's raising her son.
You saw that at the end, because instead of going to the nanny, he took him home.
Yes, exactly. So you see exactly that change. No more Anna, no more nanny. No, but now she can enjoy her life with her, raise her son. On the mega yacht. And in
so
London.
Neil,
that ain't half bad.
Poor Neil grows up with the protagonist. The protagonist is like, hey, I got a big mission for you. You have to meet past me now. And so he sends Neil back a amount of years. I don't know how that works.
How they program that is very confusing.
Presumably Neil probably sat there waiting for months, or maybe he kept them going forward and back.
He could have.
So that he doesn't age out. Because my question is, do
How does
you
it affect
age
your body?
backwards when you go backwards? Presumably you do. So, because she was healing in reverse, because the damage was being undone. Doesn't make sense either. It's not. Oh, so the confusing thing is, do you age backwards?
It's
You
complex.
probably do, because if entropy is reversed, they talk about entropy. That means the progression of atoms and existence is reversed also, which means therefore age and whatnot, things like that, concepts like that, reverse also. Probably yes. So he's actually Neil could be a lot older than he looks.
He could be.
Because he's been forward, back, aging forward, aging backward, aging forward. He could be 50. And the protagonist could also be 70. That could have been an 80-year-old protagonist, but we wouldn't know because he looks normal.
Exactly. We don't know.
So it is what is there. Anyway, closing thoughts. Hey, like the movie. There's a lot of plot holes, like I was talking about, conceptual stuff that doesn't make sense, like the aging thing, the reverse bullet thing. What's happened, but like, is the guy forever stuck in that building thing? Sator's megalomania, like flaws here and there.
Yeah.
The antagonist is pretty cartoonish, but aside from that, it was a good thriller spy plot wrapped in with a time plot. I enjoyed the movie.
I think so. I agree.
And with that, thank you all for joining us on this. For us, it's been like almost 3 hours. For you guys, I'm going to cut it down a little bit, so hopefully it's going to still be long, so bear with us. But thank you for...
It was a good first review, I think.
So thank you for joining us for the Morning Movie Podcast. If you guys enjoyed, have a wonderful day and stay safe out there.